Welcome, guys, and today we are going to look at AI and its application. This is the final thing we want to do before we close today. So, as you are seeing on the screen, I'm going to show you a couple of examples and then see how we can proceed with that with this. Please watch this one.
Hi, Connie.
How may I help you? I am Hilton's newest concierge in training, thanks to a pilot project between Hilton and IBM.
Hospitality is a really interesting use case for Watson because inevitably you have people who need information. They need to find a restaurant, they need to find a park, they need to get directions.
We operate in a very crowded industry, so innovation is key. Innovation has to help solve problems operationally. Innovation has to help our customers. It's an opportunity to really delight customers in ways that they don't expect.
We're really excited about being able to build out the cognitive learning capabilities with IBM and Watson at the same time as we have Connie interacting with our guests.
It's much more natural. It's something that people can identify with. It's much more comfortable, and something that allows them to have a more insightful interaction, actually.
It allows us to really serve people, understand what they're looking for, sense their emotions, sense their level of urgency.
To be able to take robotics and artificial intelligence and introduce it to the hotel business as a way of helping us operate more efficiently, helping us to delight our customers, it's a big dream.
What excites me about this partnership is the courage of Hilton to try something new, the courage of Waveblazer to build on the technology. So that courage is going to push us to continue to advance Connie. It's also going to allow the humans who work in those hotels to go beyond that to help people even further by having Connie do the basic things.
Goodbye. I hope to be able to help you with Hilton Hotels again soon.
Yes, please think about this. Very interesting stuff. Collaboration between hotel industry and companies like IBM, and there are so many other examples. And try to link it with previous discussions, like add facial recognition for the robot, and other features of artificial intelligence, better communication skills. And if it looks a little bit weird that it is a robot, just like we were saying yesterday, you can always give it a skin of a human being, and imagine that how jobs can be. And well, these things are happening already. There are hotels where robots are working. Some people were sending me some examples from China, for example. So all of these things can really transform this type of work, and not just hotel industry, other type of industries like basic tasks in customer service across all industries. They can be these basic questions can be answered by these type of robots. So very interesting thing to reflect on. So it's not just hotel and banking. The applications are as wide as you can imagine, and so on.
As a matter of fact, for what it's worth, Grammarly can, yeah, that's long.
Yeah, this one is very interesting. I have muted the voice. You can read the font coming on the screen. Essentially, what it is, you go on to a bar, and then there is facial recognition, and it sees your face, and it gives you a number, that what number you will be served on, and how much estimated time it will take for your turn. Like your turn will come after 6 minutes, after 4 minutes, whatever, and other things can be added, what you will be priced at, and so on. This can be very interesting because sometimes in some places bars can be overloaded, and people who are like more extrovert, maybe they can find their way and get the drink or whatever, but other people who are like more polite and whatever, they are waiting there. But this is just one example of facial recognition, and again, this is being used. This is not something which is just a video. The name of the bar is there, Other things are there. The owner conversation is there. Maybe not in this clip, but you can find other clips. Just run a Google search, a YouTube search, facial recognition at bars. So this is a very good example of uh, of usage. And in the same bar now you can incorporate some robotics, and this can be very amazing. And by no means we are not saying that it's all over, technology will just take over and no human being would be there. That is not what we are saying. Yes, human beings are there in the back end maybe, and if they are observing, watching, just like Amazon. Yesterday we were watching that interesting clip, 800 bots, one girl managing those. So yes, she is behind the scene and bots are working and all of these things are happening. But if there is any problem, she can flag it and the right people can come and sort it out. And those right people which will come and sort it out, you don't need to hire them permanently. They can be just contract workers and they are away, just on a call. They can come and all of those things. So the purpose, it can be huge, humongous. But this is an interesting example of facial recognition. So think about that. This is very interesting.
Exactly 70 years ago, the first road car was leaving our factory. So in the 70th anniversary, there was not a better year to start this collaboration, because all the experience, all the technology, all the knowledge that Intel has as far as artificial intelligence is concerned will give the possibility again to look at the race from a different perspective, increasing the experience both for the driver but also for the fan.
AI techniques allow us to basically bring together many sources of data and visualize it or find an outcome we wouldn't have seen before. We can use AI techniques to teach drivers to drive better. What that means is pointing out where they can do things differently and be faster, or actually intervene in sort of small amounts, going around a track, for instance. We have in-car video. You can see what's happening within that car or in front of that car, but you can't really see the relationship with that car and the track, relationship with that car and other cars. Now we're deploying drones, and we can start getting video feeds of all different corners of the track and syncing it up with data coming from the cars. 5 years from now in the motorsports world, I believe we're going to be using a lot better analytics based on AI techniques. Right? Human can only take so much data in, and that's really what AI systems can do. So we can bring together much more data with these systems, things we really couldn't do before.
Why Intel and Ferrari? I think the right question is, why not? And why we waited so long?
Yes, very interesting stuff is happening. Like, you are improving the driving efficiency of a very good driver by using these type of. Yes, Barnes, please go ahead.
So I was actually yesterday. Can you see me, or? Yeah. Yesterday I was checking the website of Boston Dynamics, the guys who build the robots we could see yesterday. And I was just thinking now, by looking, I would like to put my camera on, but I don't know why I cannot do it.
That's okay.
But anyway,
That's okay. No problem.
they were now when we watch these cars, because I do software testing. So first thought that came to my mind, okay, cars on the track, but they are pretty expensive. So if there would be a issue with the software, they would lose a car. And so I checked Boston Dynamics, and they are looking for a software engineer. And there were several requirements. One of them was interesting. They are looking for a person who knows game engines like a Unity, for example. So this is also interesting that all these cars that are on the track, probably the software is tested in the virtual reality, and the virtual reality is nothing more than a game. So that's also interesting element that we saw now the real effect of it, but there is a lot of going on in the virtual reality as well. That was my comment on that movie we just
Excellent,
watched.
excellent, excellent. And as you are interested in games and gamification, this is an interesting field to look into it. So excellent point, and you are linking it with virtual reality and all of those things. Yes, very nice. So improving the experience of driver, giving him the information on this turn you can go faster than how you usually go. All that data is, so he will have that confidence, all of that. So this is going to make it very interesting. So the experience of human being, yes, that is there. And then the AI is telling him that based on the tires you have, the gravity the car has on these angles, you can go faster, or you need to go a little bit slower on this. You are going a little bit faster. So that is just data. But at the end of the day, the driver is deciding. He's in control. So he decides whatever he wants to do. So so these are very interesting point, and please think about these things. Yes, this is very good. I think that whatever field you would want to go in, you should look at the related jobs in that field, and then see what are the things they are asking for. Especially the friends who are really in undergrad, and they have not really thought out what is going to happen, which area they are going to go in, or what job they look at the outside of the degree. Yes, you are going to have degree, we have established that, uh, but but there are other things which you might need, they are asking for. So you need to work on that. Very good point, very good point, Barnes. So please think about these things. Next one we would want to see, like, the application is huge. For example, look at
Construction
this one.
companies and others running large-scale infrastructure projects need to monitor their sites precisely, and investors want evidence that their interests are secure. Project managers need to supervise assets spread over large areas, as deviations from design can mean costly delays later, and indisputable documentation is needed to protect against insurance claims and litigation. PwC is combining drone technology with artificial intelligence in a trusted data environment to help clients with these security-sensitive and complex projects. We use drones to continuously survey project sites, capturing both the big picture and the smallest detail. We train computers using specialized software and deep learning techniques to correctly identify people, machinery, and materials. Automating image processing plays to the strengths of man and machine. Machines process vast volumes of data at the click of a button and can pick out detail that the human eye cannot, saving businesses an impressive 67% in time and costs. Project managers, using accurate visualization from our proprietary geospatial app, can explore and monitor their data in real time and take immediate action to address even the minutest deviation from plan before problems escalate. Drone-powered solutions are being applied to other sectors with large-scale projects, such as agriculture for monitoring, security for surveillance and fast reaction times, and mining to support planning and exploration. Our innovations in advanced analytics are making the aspirational achievable for all kinds of businesses. Imagine the possibilities. We already are.
Yes, imagine the possibility. That is so exciting, and they gave us figures like 40 billion saving in one sector, 5 billion in another sector, all of that. and other things which they mentioned. For example, human eye cannot catch all the details. My God, did I lose you?
For a second, yes.
All right. All right. Thank God. So in the last clip, you saw the drone application. Then in this one, you are seeing drone application. So someone can start working on that field, like the lifting heavy objects through drones, lifting cars, lifting human beings, taking them up. Uh, those, and you saw the capacity of flying machines and those yesterday. And I also told you guys that that company is giving training. If you want that training, you can just sign up, pay the fees, and they will train you how to fly. So these things are very, very exciting things. And the application is huge. This one you can watch, for example, in your own time. Very interesting information is there. But uh, like, for example, in the house, all of the things are interconnected. If you have gotten any chance to go in a smart house, and I'm sure you, if you try, you can find some place where you can go, or maybe the companies which prepare smart houses, they have demonstration videos and stuff. Those things are really happening. Like, people are, I am aware that people are entering in their house, and the lights are turned on. They use smartphone to do all of that. Lights are turned on. When they leave from the office, they check if they want to turn on or turn off some things. They can do that. Electricity, check water taps, check water leakages. All of these things are some things which, of course, it is costly, and it needs maintenance. And not everyone maybe can afford it right now, but simple things like checking electricity, if any bulb is left on as you left home in a rush. Those things are not expensive. These are just apps, I think, on the phone, which you can download, and there are smart bulbs, sensor bulbs, all of those things which are not new. But what I'm trying to say, you link AI with that, and basic AI. And the sky is the yeah. So my saying I have one smart bulb in my room. My what it does, what are the functions of that smartphone, how smart it is. Didi has four now. Okay, but you can run Google search on that and see how these things work. As a matter of fact, these new models of cars, for example, Lexus. If you go on Lexus website, and they have built-in systems which connect uh, their cars with the house. That is a built-in application in latest model of Lexus. You can look it up. Israfil, you want to say something? Please go ahead. Israfil's mic is on, so I thought he might want to say something. Israfil, your mic is on. That is why I said. Okay, no problem. Yes. So this one, let's see this one. But it is a longer one, so I'm not going to show all of it, of course, because we need to do other things. But I want to definitely show you a part.
section later on. Okay, so let's move on to the super cool new feature, the so-called AI-VI, which stands for Artificial Intelligence and Visual Interpretation. Basically, in addition to the top-mounted laser used for navigation, the 960 has a front-mounted camera, which it uses for seeing obstacles and interpreting them in order to make navigation decisions. So it's the first robot vacuum that can see an obstacle that it's likely to get stuck on, like a sock or a cord or something, and instead of running it over, the 960 avoids it by recognizing that it's not a part of the normal environment. I ran a number of tests with this, and you can see that while it does occasionally touch the obstacle, it does completely move around it. And because of its accurate laser-based mapping ability, it still finds a path to cover the entire area. I was impressed that it seemed to really understand the dimensions of the obstacle, so it could avoid it even when its camera was not perfectly aligned with it. You can also hit this button on the app after the cleaning to see which areas it marked as having AI-assisted obstacle avoidance instances. To understand how cool this really is, you need to see the difference between how the 960 does on this test and how other robot vacuums do. So take a look at the previous D-Bot model, the D-Bot Osmo 950, which only has the laser but no camera, and it just pushes the cones around. The issue is that all robot vacuums have a bump sensor and maneuver around things that trigger that bump sensor, but what about those things like socks or cords, or yes, the dreaded pet accidents that are too light to trigger the bump sensor and too low for the laser to interact with it? Also look at how the budget D-Bot, the N79S, does, which doesn't have a camera or lasers, and it does what you would expect it to do, and what a mess that would make if those weren't novelty items. That's what makes this a truly awesome innovation, and it means that it will radically reduce, in fact eliminate, the need for prep work before running your robot vacuum, like getting cords or other obstacles out of the way first. So between this AI VI and the no-go lines, it's basically ready for any kind of house, and you no longer have to clean the house before you clean the house. Before I move on to the cons, there are a few things that were neither good nor bad, but just kind of neutral. For example, the dustbin was just a little bit on the small side at 450 milliliters, about the same size as the Roborock S5 and S6. I really wanted to love the mopping attachment. I mean, it has all the right qualities, like an attachment with washable pads, a fairly large water tank. It has a lot of app features, like where you can control the amount of water flow in the app. My main problem was that I couldn't seem to get the water to dispense much, despite me upping the levels on the app to its maximum setting. I'm not sure if I was doing something wrong, but it just didn't seem to be working right, so the various mopping test results were pretty bad. The battery life, like the power levels, were also down from the earlier version. EchoVac says that the 960 can get only 100 minutes compared to the 200 minutes on the 950. I assumed that the additional camera and maybe some of the software features for the AI meant that there had to be some sacrifices with power and battery life from the 950, but as with most smart robot vacuums, battery life isn't that big of a deal anymore since they have recharge and resume, where if the battery does run low, the robot will automatically return to the base to recharge and then resume cleaning where it left off. As far as the cons, most of it was pretty minor. Like, I love the dual edge brush design, but I felt they were a little too fast and tended to scatter larger amounts of debris a little more than I liked. I also felt like the size and height was a little bigger than usual. I'm sure it will be too high to get under some couches out there. Despite its size, I found that it was really good at getting into most nooks and crannies, but I did find that about half the time it failed to clean under the chair legs in our test room. That's a pretty rare thing, and it didn't happen every time, but it did happen enough times to mention it. All in all, though, I was super impressed with the D-Bot Osmo 960. I really do think it is the future of robot vacuums. I have a video coming up where I'm going to explain exactly why I think that. And yes, it's pretty expensive, but it's also fairly easy to explain why it's so expensive with all this new hardware and software. And in our tests, it showed that it was also really good at its main job, which was vacuuming hard floors and carpets. So check the links in the description and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars for more.
Yeah, please think about this. This is quite amazing. If you see dogs leftover or dirty things which you don't want to spread on floor, the vacuum is going to identify those type of things and leave them alone. This is, if this is not smartness, then what is smartness? And this is just one example. There are so many other things in the market which are using artificial intelligence. And for example, we are talking about cleaning houses. They are quite clever things, even robots. Yes, the price, yes, it is not for everyone, but then because it is in the early days, that is why it is expensive. That's what at least I believe. As the advancements are going to happen with time, they are going to become affordable, And then there will be different versions of AI vacuums and AI robots. Some would have more features, other would have less features, and then they will, because these companies would want people to use it. If they want people to use it, then they want to make it affordable and stuff. And you can add other technologies to this now. It's just it is just that our imagination is going to limit, but but these technologies are so cool that I'm unable to find words that how I should like, you know, the recognition between different and then you can add, like, you know, ability to talk, like you can give instructions, just like you give it to Siri, and you can talk to this vacuum, and you can add and add to this. But pricing for now is definitely something which is an issue. Think about this, how the music industry can be really disrupted, um, really disrupted, because even the creation of music that can be done by artificial intelligence, it is in the beginning, of course, but you know, it is going to improve with time. But even now, with these things, these tools are available in the market. Kuka is known for their robotic arms and stuff like that. So if someone is a musician and they want to do a concert, if they can incorporate a couple of things, not everything, maybe just on the drums or on the guitar or on the piano, one robot, I think the hype they are going to get, and that would be, people would just come to watch. So very interesting times. How will artificial intelligence affect music? This is kind of a musician's point of view. Um, please watch it. I think it is long, so that is why I don't want to watch it. But uh, it is a nice clip. I enjoyed it. So please see if you can. You can watch it. Yes, of course, some challenges can happen as we incorporate AI. So let's look at that.
Announced that they're adding Alexa to their cars so you can control things with your voice. It's supposed to be convenient and helpful. Here's their commercial.
Starting this year, Toyota and Lexus luxury models will come with Amazon Alexa.
Alexa, turn on the AC.
Turning on AC.
Finally, a virtual assistant to help you navigate.
Alexa, where's the nearest gas station?
Nearest gas station in 1.5 miles.
And to help maintain your vehicle.
Alexa, order more brake pads.
Ordering new brake pads, although maybe if you didn't stop so close to the car in front of
I left plenty of room.
you, drive too aggressively.
If you were just quiet for 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
She'll talk to you literally the entire time you're driving.
I think you should have turned back there.
I know where I'm going!
Hi, you know why I pulled you over?
No, officer,
Because we were driving 72 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone.
Anything else I should know?
2 miles back, we rolled through a stop sign without coming to a complete stop. Also, there are illegal fireworks in the trunk.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to step out of the car, please.
Amazon Alexa. You'll never get away from her.
Well, that is a funny take on this. So you know, you have to. There will be challenges, but if you can mitigate those challenges, then it would be nice. I really wanted to show you this one. I have muted the I muted the voice. You can read the titles which are seeing, but I want you to reflect and watch how steady the hand is. Look at this. What is happening on the screen now? This is amazing, because even for us human beings, if you are not trained, this type of activity is extremely hard. And look at the precision of this arm and how it is working. This is quite clever.
Favorable one. It divides the possible interactions between the robot and the Jenga tower into clusters, each with its own set of physics. The robot efficiently and clearly identifies when a piece feels stuck or free and decides how to extract it using far less data. This approach is a successful example of AI moving into the physical world. The robot learns as it interacts with its environment and capture some of the essential skills that define human manipulation.
So please follow this lab, MIT lab. I had mentioned it a couple of times in our discussion also. And yes, we have Anthony is absolutely right. There is definitely, if you are really following what is happening in the field, uh, these are very interesting times. And as Anthony is saying, there is a little bit of scariness can come, because you can now link this. You can link this with the you can link this with construction. I just showed you a construction clip and the use of drones and AI and all of that. Now you include this in making the walls and bricks, and you working with bricks and construction work, these arms. My God, the but again, we are not saying that it's happening right now. Please understand that. So but we are talking about kind of a future thing, but we are just trying to reflect that what is possible right now. Amazing things are possible. Yes, I think some people raise their hands. Please go ahead if you want to say something.
Yeah, I raised a hand for a moment, but I was about to say the same about construction. And actually, this is also going backward. That in a factory, the robots already do the component work, and the component work is shipped by robots, and then the cars with the load can provide all the components to the site where the building is about to be constructed, and then the robots are finishing the whole building. So from the beginning till the end, the whole production line, if we call it like that, can be done by robots. That's very interesting.
Very true. And as our friend is talking, look at this one. One of our friends posted this one yesterday in the chat, if you are looking. So see how it is doing the work. So it's quite complex work. It might seem simple, but it is. And think about, like, these machines, how you taught them, how they were taught to really distinguish between these things. And yes, they are going to make mistake every now and then. It is not 100% that they are going to put it in the right box every time, but human beings make mistakes also. So please reflect on that. Yes, Anton, please go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm really scared about is that, think about all these arguments now that Facebook has against the US, for example, when people say that Facebook owns the world. So I'm thinking about these AI companies. So now they're pretty small. I mean, Zen Robotics is a massive one, but there are a lot of smaller companies. And think about how they develop in 20 years from now. And so they will become new Facebook or new Apple, new Microsoft. So they will tell us what to do next. So once they develop whatever the services, whatever they're doing now with all this AI stuff, they will just take control over many things in our lives. That's what I'm really scared about. And I think we should really start thinking about regulations towards all this AI, not just AI itself, but AI companies that are producing those platforms, those machines, whatever those pieces of equipment.
Very important commentary, and we thank you for that, Anton. Very important commentary. And but these companies, these are already AI companies. Facebook, and the way I'm looking at these companies, Amazon and all of these, because they have all the data, they are already AI. Yes, Barnes, please go ahead.
So Anton, exactly like you said, and I think that there has to be sort of new way of distributing the goods across the whole population, because now we really we are about to reach the times when 100 people can own a company that is fully run by robots, and from time to time they just take few experts for 6 months work, and then they develop a new feature, and this new feature is later on applied to the technology. And now it's up to them if they are about to share these goods with the rest of the population, because the rest of the population is left without any support. And this is definitely something that that will require some regulations, so that there is no possibility that one person becomes extremely rich, like seriously extremely rich. Like, it's even hard to imagine that, and others cannot even go to work, basically. So I think this will be a political issue as well in the near future. Very near. I think it's about 10 years, not more.
Yeah, definitely. It is a political issue more than AI issue, because now governments need to think what these companies can do in their territory and what they cannot do. And Facebook has China has done, I think, something right, that the companies which are not sharing data with them, they are not allowing them to work in their territory. So I personally speaking, you can have your own point of view on that, but personally speaking, I think that is one right way to deal with these companies. But these companies are very rich already. Facebook, Google, Amazon, these type of companies are so rich. They have a lot of money. They are very well connected now. So to take some action outside against them is going to be a little bit of a challenge, a big challenge. These things, in the early stage, if you don't deal with these things, once the companies become powerful, then it becomes more and more and more difficult. Not saying that you cannot do it, but it is almost that you cannot do it because of the power and influence they uh, they they enjoy. So what Anton said, I think, was interesting point, that these new companies which are working in AI, we need to think about them, that what they can do and what they cannot do. But even that is going to be hard, because they will build a case that if other companies, these big companies, can collect data and use it in the way they are using, or they might be using, why I cannot do that? So a lot of issues there. So good pointers to reflect on. I really wanted to see this one.
That enables individuals to walk and cross obstacles with a powered knee and ankle prosthesis. Negotiating obstacles found in everyday life is challenging with a conventional prosthesis. When approaching an obstacle, the prosthetic knee does not bend. As a consequence, the prosthetic foot is not able to clear the obstacle. Due to this limitation, the user needs to go around the obstacle or perform unnatural movements like swing their legs sideways and outward. This motion is destabilizing and not always possible in tight environments or crowded areas. When we encounter an obstacle, our gait pattern changes. We slow down and increase our hip and knee range of motion to increase the foot clearance. By using sensors, motors, and controls, power prostheses can imitate the physiological gait pattern. During walking, our controller captures the changes in the movements of the biological hip using the sensors in the prosthesis. Based on this information, the controller adjusts the motion of the prosthetic knee using AI to imitate the physiological gait pattern. When using this controller, the knee prosthesis movements change continuously according to the biological hip movements. As a result, users can change the foot clearance at every step. By voluntarily changing foot clearance, users can seamlessly walk and cross obstacles of different sizes. In our test, 3 subjects successfully crossed obstacles greater than 20 centimeters. The prosthesis does not detect the obstacle nor use pre-planned movements. The controller optimizes the prosthesis trajectory online based on the hip movements of the user. This enables the user to generate different levels of foot clearance while walking at different speeds and crossing over obstacles of different sizes with just a single controller. Because the power prosthesis continuously adapts to the physiological hip movements, changing the foot clearance is intuitive for the user. Navigating obstacles is essential to ambulation in real life. With this new controller, we're a step closer to clinically viable robotic prostheses. This work was partially funded by the National Science Foundation, the UNIS.
Yes, please think about this, how including AI in these type of things in limbs stuff, what these companies are making, how they are going to really transform the experience of of human beings. If you are interested, you should look into this study. Very interesting, and it is latest work. Look at the date, 22nd July, 2020, just last month. Science robotics. Yeah, so you need to uh, get familiarized with these type of readings to see how things are happening, so you can reflect and prepare and do whatever you need to do. I was really amazed that incorporating AI, the movement of the knee, how it can sense and it can move as it sees the hurdle. And think about it, we take it for granted the way we walk, and we can just move our our foot. People who wear these type of artificial limbs, they had a real problem, which is they cannot bend it the way we can. But as you are approaching uh, the 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 hurdle, the AI will sense and it will bend the the feet. That is quite amazing. So these are some things which we should think about. Uh, yeah, this is mind blowing, definitely. So artificial intelligence can clone your voice. Uh, that is what I would want to demonstrate it to you, how it can clone the voice. So you won't watch all of the clip, but just a part.
Yes. Test your voice. All right, so now I get to type something.
Yeah, so the moment of the truth.
Once Lybird's AI has worked its magic, after I'm done typing,
gotta spell better.
Any words I put into the app can be played back in my digital voice. And here's the crazy thing. Even words I never actually said in the first place.
Artificial intelligence technology seems to be advancing very quickly. Should we be afraid? I mean, I can definitely hear my voice in there. That's really interesting. I just picked those words at random, and I definitely did not say some of them, and it's like flawless in being able to sort of pick from just about any word and manufacture it. Hello World is the best show I have ever seen.
This technology seems sweet, but lends itself to all manner of trickery.
I've popped back to my hotel to test out the Lyrebird technology a little bit, and you can see some really obvious ways that this could be abused. This is fake Donald Trump talking.
The United States is considering, in addition to other options, stopping all trade with any country doing business with North Korea.
And then you could picture somebody taking over your voice and creating some mayhem in your personal life. Now, to really put my computer voice to the test, I am going to call my dear sweet mother and see if she recognizes me.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
What are you guys up to today?
Well, it's Saturday. We didn't have any electricity early this morning, and we're just hanging around the house.
I'm just finishing up work and waiting for the boys to get home.
Okay.
I think I'm coming down with a virus.
Oh, why do you feel bad, hey?
I was messing around with you. You were talking to a computer.
I felt like I was talking to you. It's amazing.
This is what mom is saying. I felt like I was talking to you. It is amazing. Yes, it is amazing, and it is kind of messed up also. Yeah. Virtual human beings. Virtual human beings. Yeah. Uh, Look at that. These are virtual human beings. How real they look, their expressions, their eye movement. Amazing stuff.
We have to build computers that can understand us and we can understand them in an intuitive manner. My name's Mark Sager, and with my team I've been developing autonomous virtual humans and characters. Soul Machines is humanizing computing. So we're building computers that you can have face-to-face interactions with in a human-like manner. They have their own brains, which are driving their behavior, virtual nervous systems, virtual bodies. They can learn in real time. They can be empathetic. They can interact. They can speak. They can do all kinds of things which we can do. And it gives us a natural way for us to interact with a computer just like we can interact with another person. Fundamental to what we're doing is a research project called BabyX. BabyX is basically trying to build a virtual infant that can learn through experience and act and interact in a very human-like way. We want to build a computer that can be taught like a child. With BabyX, we're interested in the fundamentals of what it takes to socially interact, to pay attention to things, to form associations, to react emotionally. So she can sense, she can see through the web camera, she can hear through the microphone, she can interact with things like web pages on the internet, and she can express herself. Now, what does this mean for storytelling? If you think about how an author creates a character, so an author will give a character particular characteristics, then imagine what would happen to them in different situations. In this case, we create the characters' sensitivities, their memories, and so forth, and see what they do. Character-driven narratives have almost unlimited potential. By making autonomous characters, we can connect the viewer, the audience, to the story in a way which has never been done before. If we create an autonomous character that has a brain, has a memory, has emotions, and can experience the world in its own right, we can then put that character in a virtual world, and we can have it interact with other characters, millions of these characters, in worlds which are unimaginable. We can interact with it, we can influence its journey, we can care for it, we can see what happens to it, we can actually become connected to these stories. They'll connect us into a world of infinite imaginative possibilities. And so the journey will not be a passive thing where you're an audience to a story. You will be a participant in a story. You will have responsibility to what's happening in that story. These types of things can totally change the way in which storytelling works, and it'll be endlessly fascinating.
That is mind-blowing. Data security, data breaches, identity theft, all of those things you need to think about. But many good usage also. For example, people who are lonely, they can have a real, real in the, maybe not in the real sense, but yes, real to a good sense. In this next one, a true real friend, yes. A true real friend, yeah. Is not gonna mess up with with you. So in this next clip they explain, how they are teaching it, and see they are doing things and making people a little, making the baby sad a little bit and then happy, and then what they are trying to say that the baby is learning from the experience when to become sad, when to happy, and all of they explain it in this 5 minutes. But unfortunately, I don't have those 5 minutes to show you this clip. But this is on the website. Please watch it. Think about the challenges which this type of technology is going to bring, but also think about the benefits. Benefits are huge also. Yeah. And and this one then, some commentary on AI avatars. You know, this is worth reflecting definitely. Yeah. So why AI avatars are dangerous and the psychology behind it. This is a very nice balanced point of view. Uh, this is an upcoming scientist in the field of AI, not from programming side, but from psychology and that softer side. So please listen to this 60-minute. I think it is very important. If I had time, I would have shown you this. And as a matter of fact, I had invited her as a guest speaker, and she was willing. But then something happened, and we could not have her. But very interesting commentary on all of this clip, similar type of things. Please think about that. And then relationships. I think we went through this yesterday. Yes, we did. We did. We went through that yesterday. Um, very good. Very good. Yes, guys. Please go ahead. Speak.
So the virtual reality and how they map actually the uh, uh, human. They are like creating a human, but in an artificial world. But this is also a tricky thing because maybe we already are like that. Maybe already this is virtual reality, and actually, from the statistical point of view, it's more likely that it is than it's not. So, in this sense, maybe this AI is just another virtual world that is created in the. It's like bubble, and in the bubble there is another bubble, and another bubble, and another, and it goes like that. It's it's crazy a little bit.
And please, guys, uh, please listen to this point very carefully. Don't go too much in depth in all of these things which are posted on the website and otherwise, because these things have tendency to mess up your mind and your regular life. So please remember that we are human beings, and we need to watch our thoughts. So these things, don't look look at your capacity, how much you can take. And if these things are like your mind is not accepting these things, then don't bother watching them too much. You have watched enough. So because it can really mess up the mind. So please be careful about that. Yeah, it is not fun thing. Like, you don't just watch these for fun, that, oh, I'm enjoying it and all of that, because it can really disrupt. Yes, please go ahead.
planet or even other solar system are so far away from us, so we cannot go out there living human beings. So if we can train artificially intelligent or robot to think or making decision by themselves, then if we can put them to nearest star like Ceres or others there, and they can go there and they can start building their environment for living human being, and then maybe they can clone some human over there, or we can send people over there. And also in Mars right now, we can send like this kind of robot, and then they can start building over there some infrastructure, so that when the human go arrive there, they can live there and make some stuff. I think in this way, this kind of teaching baby artificial intelligence is very good idea, so that we can further our human being like other planet or other star. That will be a very good idea, I think.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Abu. Yeah, we need to think about these things. We need to think about these things. All right, moving along. Hiring. We spoke briefly about it, but I wanted to show you an example. So this is the clip. This is a long clip, so I'm not going to show you all of it. It is 10-minute clip, so I'm just showing you a part of it, and please reflect on it. How AI is being used in hiring, not in the future. Is being used. Yeah.
Pattern of what facial expression is needed for any job. So applicants could be eliminated for facial expressions that have nothing to do with the job.
HireVue sees the challenge differently. The company says that only the data points that are relevant in predicting what matters are really considered, and that their model attempts to capture all different facial expressions that have been seen in top performers. What about an AI review of the way we express ourselves on social media? Could that be a window into our compatibility for a job?
With DeepSense, essentially what we build this meta profile, a behavioral profile of every individual.
Marpreet Kalkat's company is spearheading another trend in hiring, a move away from judging people based on their resumes and skills towards decisions based on people's personalities. His company, DeepSense, uses applicants' Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social media accounts to do more than just check for questionable behavior. DeepSense says that it runs scientifically based tests to surface people's underlying personality traits.
I'm just a little skeptical that from a Twitter feed, you can determine my personality or anyone.
It's not perfect, but now let's remember, everything is relative.
And you don't need to tell people.
This is public data.
Is it legal?
Well, that is all public information, so yes, it is perfectly legal.
Is it ethical?
So that's the second question. When you're posting on Twitter, you're certainly not imagining that that information is being collected to be used against you.
So what's DeepSense's sense of who I am?
So Jason Bellini is a person who can be a little anxious sometimes.
Yeah.
He likes to face challenges up front. That's true.
To test DeepSense's tool, I actually did one of the personality tests. It's the one that DeepSense used in its own benchmark testing. My results on DeepSense were similar in 2 of the 4 categories, but in 2 others, the discrepancy is pretty wide.
I just wonder how companies are going to be confident that it's a real reflection of that person's personality.
So I know that most of the times it's telling me the right thing.
Kalkat says 2 Fortune 500 companies are already using DeepSense.
Can you tell me which companies they are?
I can't share the companies. I can tell you one of them is a consulting, one of the big 5 consulting ones.
Okay. They don't want people to know that they're using your service?
It's still experimental for a lot of people.
Not a lot of transparency at the dawn of AI assessing job candidates. We, the public, can't see what's in the black box.
Yes, please reflect on that. The companies, and he said that top 5 consulting companies, one of them is using that. Which are those top 5 companies? PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, E&Y, and one more I'm forgetting. Yeah. So one of them is already using it. And he mentioned that he's taking out data from social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, and then using that. And then the question was asked: Is it law? By law, is it permitted? Yes, it is. It is public information. It is permitted. And then they ask, is it ethical? So then that is a different question. So this is. So in some places, by law, you will be able to do certain things, and the companies will do that. So by law, what Facebook can do with our data, what Google can do with our data, with these companies, what they can do with our data, by law, they might be correct. But if we know what they are doing, we might think that that is not right, but that is going to fall under ethical issue, not a legal matter. So this needs to be understood. As anyone in the field of computer sciences, we really need to understand this. that what are the things they can do with the things which we post online, because majority, once you post it online, they can do what they want to do with that. That is unless you clarify it in the comments or somewhere that please don't use it, then it can be contested. But think about it, who is going to go and contest all of those things? Normal regular people don't have time to to do that. It's quite an interesting thing. And then I want to show you this one now. Smile with your eyes. So when artificial intelligence is going to conduct the interviews, they are going to identify if the smile is real or not. If you guys remember, I had a little conversation with Israfil one day about his facial movements and stuff like that, and both of us were laughing about it, and I'm sure you guys remember that if you were here. So same thing for AI interviews. You might be, when you go in an interview now as a human being, of course, you smile. Even if you did not had a good day, still you smile. Why are you smiling? Because you want to create a good expression for the interviewer. But then uh, in the world of AI, if you will smile and you don't really mean it, the AI is going to test if your eyes are smiling or not. Is it a genuine smile or not? Yeah. So because when you have a genuine smile, your eyes are different than when you have a non-genuine smile. Just like that little part in our eyes, pupil or whatever you call it. When we see someone and we like them, that expands. And if we see something which we don't like, it contracts. Read on it. I'm sure you know this already, but still do some investigation. So normally we cannot see that from our eyes in other person. When they see us, we don't see if their eye, if that area in the eye expanded or contracted. But AI can definitely do that. And if you guys recall, Sammy explained us the latest advancements in cameras and stuff like that yesterday. So and this is happening in South Korea. That is why it is interesting. It is not something for the future. They are in South Korea, they are conducting interviews using AI, and people are learning how to smile and so on. So you can check out this exciting story. This is the guy, and his interview is also available on the YouTube. So he explains how he's doing that. Very interesting. Okay, aftershocks and opportunities, the future of artificial intelligence. uh, this is a webinar type of thing. It is 2 hours long, but I watched it and I learned a lot of things through this. If you have, if you, that's uh, well, there are different styles of loving. So uh, yes. So this clip, when you have time, please watch it. The panel is very interesting. VP of Artificial Intelligence, Samsung America. Yeah, he is sitting there. Research Analysis Center of AI from UN Netherlands. They are sitting that. The Institute for Love and Time. Very interesting. Space Executive Director is that. Futurist. People who work on future, who study how the future would be. London Futurist is one of them, and the chair is there. And Fast Future, again, futuristics. So this is a small panel, but it is interesting panel, and if you have time and interest, you should look into this, the future of artificial intelligence, aftershocks, and of course opportunities, and how to maximize from the opportunities. Some companies I have selected here. there are many, but I selected these because I like them for various reasons. Just to show you how they are applying artificial intelligence in their work. For example, Microsoft, the future computed artificial intelligence and its role in society. They have made a nice comprehensive report here. It deals with so many things. So it is, maybe you don't want to read it line by line, but please do scan it in your own time. Microsoft vision for AI in the enterprise. What is their vision? So what I'm trying to say, if you go on the website of these major companies, you are going to find this type of information. So I invite you to go on those websites, run some searches, and then read those. You don't have to read everything. You just scan it. You just read the parts which are appealing to you. That is very important. That will help you understand what is happening as you are working on your programming languages and stuff like that, which you will. This is as important as that is, if you ask me. KPMG, rethinking the value chain of KPMG, very interesting piece. A little long, of course, 82 pages, but worth reading. And again, no need to get overwhelmed or anything. You just read what you enjoy reading. If these things are not you are not interested in them, you don't need to read them, and you need to see where you want to go, which area you want to go. Rethinking the value chain, very nice. So I made the postings here in your own time. Please watch them. Intel, I used a lot of clips from the basic courses on various websites. They are already on this website, so I don't think you should do a basic course or understanding AI what it is by paying. If it is a free course, then you should do it if you want, but otherwise these are the similar type of things which they will be discussing. If you are going to do some application and run some algorithm and those type of things, that is what you should be doing after this course, after today. Intel, for example, artificial intelligence, how they are doing it, June 25, 2020. So it is pretty recent report, or a little piece. Please scan through these things if you would want. Neuromorphic computing, we did not speak about this one. So exciting thing. There are so many things in AI. This is maybe one of them. So please look into that. Then Accenture, applied intelligence, make your AI vision a reality by knowing where to start and how to scale. So these type of companies are, giving services, offering services that how other people can maximize from usage of AI and stuff like that. Supplementary topics I have included. The point of including this supplementary section is that you don't have to go in computer sciences and IT to take advantage or usage of AI. You don't have to. You can select any field of your choice. It can be journalism, it can be media, it can be music, and then study how AI is being how AI is applied in your field, and learn that area. You will be fine like that also. So to make that case, I have made these postings. For example, this first one, AI, future of communication. Yeah. So how communication is going to be transformed because of AI? What are the things we need to, if we are interested in communication, what are the things we need to be thinking about or working on? Yeah, so communication has nothing to do with computer science or something like that, in the sense of programming and in that sense. Yeah, so I have posted this course for you. It is around 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 207 minutes. So you can take this course. It has 8 clips, very nicely explained step by step. How does AI influence communication, AI and the media, AI and the organizational communication, AI and interpersonal communication, all of that. And again, the point is that I'm trying to make the point that you can click and you can link any, you can take any field and then look into AI's application in that field. So communication, medicine, for example, yeah. We have been giving a lot of example of medicines. For example, psychiatry. You can look into psychiatry, how artificial intelligence is making changes in the mental health situations, and try to reflect on those robots, where they were helping the elderly, to giving them company, talking with them. We saw some clips on that also, sometime in the course, or we looked at some readings on that. So mental health, psychiatry, see how wide the application is. And COVID-19, of course, how artificial intelligence is helping fight the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the things, because all of us are reading about what is happening with COVID-19 in the world. So there are many countries which are using AI. So this is a nice example. You can go through this. They are talking about China and disease surveillance AI. Yeah, facial recognition, all of those things which we spoke about yesterday when we were talking about AI and China. Virtual healthcare assistants. I gave you example of that. The applications are pretty advanced nowadays. It is just human beings that they want to go and see the doctor. That is why maybe they are going there. Diagnostic AI, facial recognition and fever detector AI. Yeah. So intelligent drones and robots. They are linking so many things in this article, and it is a short read. And it has links in it uh, to explain what they are saying. So please see if you can in your own time go through that and see what is what. And then artificial in international relationship, for example, diplomacy, governance. If you are into that type of field, still you can take advantage of AI. So for example, this one, you can look at this one. The pursuit of AI supremacy will impact international relations. And you guys mentioned that so many things has to do with the political system, governance system. So you can work in that also. And when we were watching that clip, how to prepare for future of work in where for the digital revolution or artificial intelligence revolution, or whatever you want to call it. When we were looking at that in the module 4 of the basics of AI, if you guys remember, they were saying that you need to see in which areas you are good and then combine them. So maybe you are good in you enjoy international relations, governance, and then you link it with AI, and then you have some interest in music. So we saw something on music also today, or you have some interest in the drones, and then you combine them together and you create a mix which is unique, which is your selling proposition. So I think that can be very interesting. Uh, and at the end, I have this clip. Will AI take our job? It is the same. It is the same girl which I showed, which I referred a while ago. This gives a very balanced opinion on the things. So I I I included it just to minimize any hype if it were created during the session, which of course it can be created. Uh, Without knowing that can happen. So this one gives you a more realistic look, just to balance out the things. So you can watch this in your own time. But if people were always balanced, then they would not have built aeroplanes. If people were balanced, they would not have invented mobile phones, all these technologies which we have. These were created by people who were not balanced, who were passionate about what the idea which they wanted to work on. That is why these things were created. But still, balance. People say balance is important. Uh, you need to have your own calling on that. Is balance important? You want to create balance in your life, or you want to just pick up some things and go all out in those things? So that is your calling, how you want to behave in that environment. uh, Now I want to take you through some uh, some some clips, but before some PowerPoint slides. So, but anyone want to say anything? I don't like to talk all the time. I enjoy interaction. So, is there anything which you guys would want to talk about, or any highlight? Because later on, maybe you will forget or something. Anyone wants to make any point? If yes, it is a good time. If no, maybe you can make the points later on. Okay, so let's look at some of the slides. So these are just some examples of applications, what is happening in the world. We have given a lot of examples, application throughout the session, but still I wanted to go through this slide. If something we missed, we can catch um, we can catch that. Okay, look at this one. Nearly half of UK firms think their business model won't exist in 5 years because of AI. Yeah, nearly half of UK. So what I want to stress is that UK developed country, but even in developed countries, half of the firms are thinking that their model, whatever business model they have, it is not going to exist in 5 years. And look at this, the bottom of the slide. 51% of UK business leaders do not have an AI strategy in place. Look at that contrast. So on one hand, half of the firms are thinking that their business model won't be relevant in 5 years. And on the other hand, half of the business leaders do not have any AI strategy in place. So this can tell you how much work is required in this field, how much potential there is. If you are willing and interested and passionate, you can definitely work on these type of things. And this is AI strategy. What is strategy? All the things which we have been talking about, they are part of strategy. Application, ethical issue, moral implication, trust issues, all of that. Governance model, data collection, how to collect it, structured, unstructured, all of those things, that is part of strategy. So think about that. Look at this one. I really liked it. Salesforce CEO calls artificial intelligence a new human right. What is a human right? Clean air, drinking water, uh, maybe love and affection from the family at least. But AI, the people who really understand it, they are saying that AI is the new human right, access to AI. Because they understand how important it is going to be. It is going to be the difference between the haves and have-nots, people and companies which would have access to data, and they will be working on things like deep learning and stuff like that. They are going to be better off than the others who won't have that access. So think about that. This is what people are thinking. New human right. Otherwise, the world will see another tech divide. Those with access to AI will be smarter, healthier, and richer, while those without access will be weaker and poorer. Reflect on that, the highlighted section on the slide. Firms like Morgan Stanley are using AI to manage clients' money. So in banking sector, it is being used widely to select stocks, to make investments, to read data, to forecast, all of that. Managing money, companies are already doing that. The amazing way is how MasterCard using AI to stop fraud and reduce false declines. So yes, there are many negatives or dark side of AI or these type of technologies, but there are many benefits, because the way AI can detect fraud from thousands and hundreds of thousands and maybe millions of different data points, a human being will take forever. Only a very experienced human being who have years and years and years of experience, maybe they are good, and they know, they have honed the skills how to detect fraud over the years. But outside of that, it is very hard to compete with how AI can stop and detect fraud. And see, MasterCard, big company, just like Visa, international businesses, they are using these type of things. Uh, so uh, go on the website of MasterCard, please. You can please run a Google search right now. MasterCard artificial intelligence, and scan through it. Just take 2 minutes. You are going to learn a couple of things. Maybe tag it and come back later. Artificial intelligence can detect Alzheimer's in brain scans 6 years before a diagnosis. Can you imagine that? If you are not aware, then this is really mind-blowing. And all of these things which I am showing you, I have verified them from different sources, so they are not fake news or something uh, like this. So 6 years, 6 years in advance, 6 years in advance. That is quite a mind-blowing thing if you reflect on that. 6 years in advance. Yeah. Artificial intelligence identifies prostate cancer with near perfect accuracy, not 100%, but so in medical field you are going to see a lot of usage. This is very interesting. GE International Business says it is leveraging AI to cut product design time in half. Product design time in half. Yeah, that is quite an interesting thing, in half. So if a human being is going to take 6 months, using AI, you can maybe do it in 2 months, 3 months. And what is design? Design is everything is design, everything. Look around. Wherever you are, just look around. Everything has a design, everything has a shape, and it is not by chance. The seat you are sitting on, the desk, your laptop, your mouse, your anything, whatever you are seeing in your room, or if you are outside, look at the buildings, everything has a design. So design is something which is universal type of application. So if AI starts designing things in a more better way, yes, they are designing already, but I'm saying, as they improve their skill of designing, imagine what are the possibilities. And design of cars, design of motorcycles. Yes, there are some basics they are following. Every car is more or less is sitting on the same type of structure, but then every car has its own design, its own little shape which the creators give. So maybe you are interested in architect, you are interested in design, so AI can really definitely make your job easy. Forbes is building more AI tools for its reporters. Forbes, these type of companies, they are creating a lot of AI related tools, which is very interesting and fascinating in terms of they can write reports. They can check for Grammarly. You see it coming all the time. You go on YouTube and it comes there, advertisement and stuff. What are they doing? They are using artificial intelligence. This is mind-blowing, definitely, especially if you are not aware of that. The Washington Post reporter has published 850 articles in the past year, and this is coming from 2017. 850 articles in the year. How many they are in a day? Even if you want to include Saturdays and Sundays and off days, it is definitely more than 2 articles per day. Can a human being write? That much? Yes, maybe, but very few. But you can argue that what type of articles they are. They are pretty basic articles, but still someone has to write it. So if you get a robot um, and equipped with artificial intelligence, that is definitely going to change the game. It is already changing the game. It has already changed the game in various fields. And journalism, media is something where it is in the early days still. Although this is a 3-year-old story, but uh, still it is in early days. But the basic type of commentary. For that, of course, you don't need human beings for reporting weather or reporting the scores and results of a game, or listening to a a conference of some political leader or some celebrity, and highlighting the major points from the conference or the interview. Those things are AI is pretty well advanced in doing those things. If you are interested, you can run the search for this one and watch it on YouTube. First AI scripted commercial directed by McDonald for Lexus. Lexus has already done this thing, AI scripted commercial. So think about it. If you combine various things which we have been discussing in the course into one thing, uh, it can be quite challenging and overwhelming for human beings to compete. But yes, we have time, but we have time only if we utilize this time in the right way. Only then we have time. But if we are not doing anything and just not changing our habits and preparing for the future of work, it will be very challenging, even if AI does not come in the way as we are talking about. Even if there is equal amount of AI we have right now, still, because of the other advancements in technologies, that is why we were talking about robotics and other things yesterday. Still, there we need to prepare. AI will match human intelligence by about 2062. Yeah. Different people have different predictions. We don't know what will happen, but I wanted to add this one. You can add your own date, time. Uh, but anyone who does substantial work in these decades, next, let's say even if someone dies in 2050, and for next 30 years they have established a very nice foundation for any area which would be required in AI in the following years, people are going to remember remember them. Uh, so think about that. The issue is creating machines aligned with human values, something now missing in AI. That is the major issue. Please look at the highlighted section. The issue is creating machines aligned with human values. So we have our own values and we want technologies and AI to follow them, and that is the challenge maybe. Samsung president says we should really worry about ethics as artificial intelligence moves into your DNA. I think we have established that throughout the course. We should really worry about ethics. Samsung president. Yeah. So, but but think about it. This is the challenge. This is the dilemma. You work in ethics, then you will be Europe. You work in application, you will be China. What do you want to be? Yeah. So that is where. What is your goal? What is your objective? Uh, 20,000 people working at Facebook. They look at AI. AI looks at the AI looks at all the data posted by people, and then artificial intelligence artificial intelligence is looking at all the data posted on Facebook, and then uh, Facebook has hired 20,000 people who are working on it, and they flag it if some inappropriate language is being used or whatever. And that AI is working in the context where different people are using different languages. That is very interesting. I just want to show you a little part of this conversation.
What is and what is not hate speech. Against our policies, they'd flag it for us and we'd look at it reactively. Now, increasingly, we are developing AI tools that can identify certain classes of bad activity proactively and flag it for our team at Facebook. By the end of this year, by the way, we're going to have more than 20,000 people working on security and content review, working across all these things. So when content gets flagged to us, we have those people look at it, and if it violates our policies, then we take it down. Some problems lend themselves more easily.
Yes, think about it. How interesting this is, and think about how much data there would be. That first they are taking help from AI, and it flags some information, and then 20,000 people are allocated for this job. Can you imagine the amount of data? And Honorable Mark is saying that if inappropriate data is there, then the AI is flagging it. But AI can flag any type of data, whichever you want. So imagine if elections are happening, and you can ask AI to flag swing voters, people who are not 100% sure which party to, and they are in every election in every country, any place. There are many swing voters who are not really sure where they are going to vote, even a day before or even on the day. They are just going there, and they are just deciding, and they are just reflecting, and they are seeing what is happening, and then they just go inside and they vote. If you look at the readings on that, you will that this will be confirmed. So AI can flag any type of data, whatever it is, and then you can influence that. So companies like Facebook, how to regulate them, really regulate them? It's a challenge. It is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. But there are many good things also about this type of things. For example, this one, inside Facebook's suicide algorithm. So the first one where I showed you the video clip, that was flagging inappropriate content algorithm. So this one is suicide algorithm. Here is how the company uses artificial intelligence to predict your mental state from your post, even from your messages, because they have the ability to go inside the messages and flag it. So this can be very interesting. You can save lives from that. Maybe someone needs someone to talk, someone with whom they can talk, or they are having bad thoughts right now. So it depends on how what you would want to do. So this is interesting application, but there are certain places which ban these type of practices, and Europe is one of them. So please look into this. You can run the Google search. Why Facebook suicide algorithm is banned in EU? So if you look at this, the last slide, it looks fine that you can save people and that type of thing. But Europe says, no, please don't do that here. Yeah. So why they are doing it? Because they are working on ethical implication. On the other hand, China, what is China doing? China is putting those headbands on children and monitoring their brain activity, which definitely is not a very good idea. I love the idea, but ethically speaking, or the other things, the pressure and those things, for that people can argue it is not a good idea. I love the idea. I have no problem with that, as I established yesterday. Put that band on the head of the instructor also, please. But look at this one. EU is saying no. Why? Because that information is very private. You don't want to share that with other people. whatever the mind state of a human being is, only the psychiatrist and the people who are, psychologists or the relevant type of doctors, they should know. So they don't want Facebook to run those algorithms in their territory. Yeah. So this is very interesting to reflect on. Facebook passes the information along to law enforcement for wellness checks. So if they are allowed to run the algorithm in the country, uh, once they find some flag on that, they will pass that information to relevant people. They will come and consult, and you can save someone's life also. But then EU says don't run it here. Yeah, because why? Because ethics. Yeah. So these are some real challenges. Look at this one: data analysis and artificial intelligence and data analytics in HR, areas where AI and data analytics are being used to improve workforce management, are being used, not in the future. Like 49% recruiting and hiring, 49%, almost half. Yeah. So you can look at these type of numbers and try to reflect on that. This bot judges how much you smile during your job interview. How much you smile, how often you smile, at what points you smile, is your smile fake or genuine, because it can take the pictures which you have posted online where you are with your family, with your friends, and laughing and enjoying. So that was of course a genuine smile most likely, and now you are in the interview and we're going to compare. Yeah. HireVue, look at this highlighted section. Predictive AI applications like HireVue screen job candidates on around 25,000 different data points. 25,000. Breaking down their words, voice, and facial expression. Yes, Alicia, please go ahead.
No, nothing. Just hearing you all these cases is sounds like insanity. Like it's absolutely unethical how they're misusing this technology in the benefits of companies. So this is I think it's a big question. I mean, many of you guys will become data scientists and will work for these companies, and now data science is advertised like, oh, the career of the future, the hottest career, good salaries, whatever. But being doing this kind of stuff is I don't know, it's very difficult to accept it in a way. Like we know, all of us, we know like people are variable. Like sometimes they're in good mood, in a bad mood, and you don't want that these algorithms check how many smiles you do in a job interview. If your dad dies, let's say yesterday, or you break up with your girlfriend. So come on, let's wake up. This AI is not everything. We should stop of creating algorithms that will rule us and will take away our essence as humans. It's the only one I want to say.
Good point, and please reflect on this interesting point. And guys, please, thanks Alice here for stopping me and coming in and talking, because I want you to talk. So please say some things. What are you thinking? What you want to talk about? So we can have a little bit of a discussion also. Yes, please go ahead.
So we are talking now about job interview, but let's say that a company conduct once a month or once a 3 months a session with all the employees and the employers, and then they check and it's not only interview. I mean, I would say like this. I would say like that whatever comes to I think someone has a microphone on. I can, but I think that whatever comes to our mind, it's actually possible to use it that way. So if we imagine that someone has a position that it would benefit their business, and if we have this idea, then I think these people also.
Well, but this is the point. It's not everything business. It's not everything money in the human reality. You know, you cannot manipulate people with these stupid algorithms. You know, to rule them in a way to make them look like they're happy all the time, push them to smile all the time, all day, and accept whatever you want them to do. And I'm not talking about recruitment only. I'm talking about the whole use of this algorithm in these jobs, in this business. I mean, I'm not against the good ones like the prosthetics, but in this case, especially the last ones that Tashfin has been showing, they are absolutely unethical.
Yeah, yes, and I agree 100% with you. And you know, I was also thinking about it, that actually we as a humans, we were always a sort of slaves for some masters that were ruling the land, and we always had to do work they wanted, and they always had guys who, if we wouldn't be good farmers, they would come and let's say convince us in a certain way. And then came a very short period in human history. I think it's this revolution of industrial revolution. And for the one moment, we actually had the voice to say something, because that's the moment when the horses are not enough to do jobs that we are doing. So we are using our intellect now. And because of that, we live in the democratic countries, so more or less. So why do we have a right to say something? Just because if we would conduct a strike, the company would maybe stop to even exist. But this will change, and these predictions and what you are saying that you are afraid of, I think they are inevitable. And I know that they are a little bit scared, not a little bit, they are very, very serious. And in my opinion, those people who have a power and a business, they want to be independent from, let's call people resources in this case. I wouldn't like to do it, but let's put it this way. They would like to be independent from resources that can stop their business running. So what do? Well, they use AI, they use all sorts of other resources that they can rely on. And I think what we will see in the near future is a decline of democracy, because our voice basically will not anymore mean as it used to mean in last 100 years. And actually the revolution in communist revolution in Russia, it was industrial revolution in the end, because that was the time when suddenly it didn't matter anymore the lands that people own to use it for agriculture, but it mattered what factories they have. That's why in Russia the revolutionists were workers in the factories. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. I talk quite much. I hope you also guys would like to tell something. I feel sometimes a little bit feel really bit bad because I'm taking many times the time. But I would really like to hear from you also, your opinions. That would be super interesting for me to hear.
Yes, guys, please attend to Barnes' call. He's asking you guys to share your thoughts, because he has been very candid in sharing his thoughts, and couple of other friends also. So it is nice if other friends can also share what they are thinking about and stuff. Uh, Yes, Didi, please go ahead.
Is this thing? How does it sound like? You guys can hear
You
me?
are you are sounding great and you are looking in good shape, and we are happy to see you.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think you are in I think you are in Switzerland now.
No, this time I'm on my airport, I guess. This is my.
Uh, very nice. Very nice.
That's an aircraft on the back. So yeah, that's. I'm a little photo right now. I was in Helsinki yesterday, so I just came here to get some stuff done. Yeah. So yeah, because I mean there is a lot to grasp from this one because when we really think about it, uh, when we start getting into features or qualities that are very humane that a computer or a AI shouldn't be able to reproduce, and when we start measuring those, that's when the sort of ethical question comes into it because we're talking about smiles. Computers don't understand how smile work. That is a tool that is invented strictly for humans, and it has very different meanings. And when we start going into that direction, people start feeling kind of, uh, I guess, offended in a sense because there is a AI measuring smile for a certain purpose. But then again, we have to understand the reason why it's being measured and what is the purpose. Because when I reflect on this matter and of course on all of this research that are being done, one thing that we have to take from this is that these are researches done by big companies. And if we think about it, right, when we go far with with certain certain tools and qualities, uh, basically there is the need to extract the extra per se that if in a company 100% of people have perfect sort of curriculums and all those marks and so on, but how would you differentiate the person that you're actually looking for, because you want to look for that 100 110 20% for the 100. So I guess that's when the time when such applications kick in, because although it sounds quite humane in measuring smiles and how the person look and so on, but it kind of gives you a sort of a tool to measure from when you cannot do it anymore. So that's when these applications come into use. So that's the way that I see it. Even though it sounds quite weird and strange to measure smiles and how the person look at the camera and so on, but I understand in a bigger scale, because if you go into a sea where there is 1,000 fish, how would you find the golden one? Because obviously you need a tool for that, and that's when that comes into use. So of course there's a lot of things that we are looking at, but we're not thinking about it. But it still makes us a lot of sense, because even though right now in today it seems a bit weird and in a sense quite inhumane and a bit difficult to understand, but I think that within time things will kind of part from each other, and there will be a clear vision about it, because right now we basically just going with our driving lights through a heavy fog, in a sense, using that analogy, because within time, of course, I'm quite sure that things will get clarified and understand why we have those tools and how they work, and why people shouldn't take them so personally when it comes, for example, talking about smile or whatever other humane characteristics we're measuring. So, yeah, but there's a lot from, because right now, I guess that the only option that we have is just to, of course, get on board and grow with it and try to understand it, because I don't think that we are doing something uh, in order to harm something else, because there is always a good purpose behind it, and that's a mental thing, because when a human creates something, there is always the main purpose is to gain something out of it, because when we think about everything else, it's kind of a part of it. It's almost like day and night. So of course there is something to learn from it, but I think that we should on what is the purpose and what's good about it, because everything that is, of course, negative is something that we create in our minds, and if we focus on it, then it becomes negative. That's just the way that it is. Because if you are not sick and you think that you are sick, eventually become sick at some way or somehow. So that's not a good way to really look at life. So you should really be as positive and open as much as possible to move forward. That's my time.
Yes, good points. Good points. As you are saying right now, we just want to jump in the board and see what happens. Yes, yes, Ronnie, please go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you if my smile is genuine or not. If it's fake, like.
No, it is not fake. You are a very genuine person, and your smile is real, and your comments are real, and everything is fine about you.
But that's kind of what I mean. Don't humans judge smiles as well,
Yes.
just as much? There is
Yes.
the little algorithm going in your head just as much as like AI would. So it's natural if you try to replicate the process in different form. Like it's what we interviewers do actually. They want to see what you are all about. They judge your smile. But if they have AI to do it, that's the same thing, but in more technological form. I mean,
Excellent point. Excellent point. I
that's
got
all.
when you when you asked. That is why I said that everything is real. To help your point there is absolutely correct, and it's not just voice. Other things like the tone in the. It's not just the smile. Tone in the in the in the in the in the. Yes, so let me ask you, what are you drinking?
I would have known that too. We didn't know that.
I'm not sure if you can see it from the camera.
All right, that's nice. That's nice.
This one. It's Friday night after all.
Cheers, cheers, everyone.
Oh yeah, you have the cup.
Cheers. Yeah,
Is there
so
something in the cup?
Didi has the right thing. All right. Yes, so it is not just about. It's not just about smile. Other things like the voice tone, voice quality, and so many things. So it is very interesting. Interesting point Ronnie has made, and he's saying that. Maybe he's saying that what is the big deal if it is going to judge, it is how it will know who you are if it is not going to run those type of algorithms. So very, very clever, very interesting. Thanks very much, Ronnie, for that. Yes, next one.
So I would add here that yes, of course, our interaction is to try to understand each other, but I would like to put one more, emphasize one thing. If for example, I'm in a company and I'm not talking about that someone would hire me. Let's say I'm already there many years, and if the company has this kind of technology, it's not anymore discussion one-to-one with, let's say, a manager. Then it feels like we are standing in front of a huge army, and we were 20,000 engineers, let's say. AI is as strong as 20,000 psychologists, let's say, and the manager has a tool in his or her hand, and as an individual, there is no chance to. It's very like, I don't know. Maybe you think more through getting a job, but when you get a job, it just starts. The interview is the easiest part. Then the real fun starts, and it's kind of, it changed the balance of definitely of the power, we can say it like that. I think so.
Very true, very true. Thanks for the comments. Abu, you wanted to say something? I think you raised your hand. Or anyone else want to say something before I continue?
No, I think I will not. I don't have anything to say.
Okay, no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. Yeah, so please think about these very valid questions, and then the counterpoint by Ronnie. Please think about these things. Very interesting things to reflect on. Can artificial intelligence make the hiring process more fair? Yeah. So one of Sweden's biggest recruiters plan to use AI-powered robots to conduct job interviews as a way to curb bias in the hiring process. So what they are doing, they are trying to minimize the bias by using robots. So human beings would have bias, but they will put the algorithm in a way that the robots don't have that bias, at least. So at least the initial interviews, let's say there is a job and thousands of people have applied, which sometimes happen, then to scan through all those CVs for a human being, it is time consuming and tedious. So if you ask the system to to look for these keywords in the CVs, and this is something which many companies have been using for a good amount of time, even before the usage of AI. I think it can be a smart initial step, and then later on, once you have narrowed down 5, 6, 7 people, then maybe you can do human interviews. But this is the future of hiring. This is the future of human resource management. Um, so let's say that you want to go in human resource. You are a business student and you want to go in human resource. What are the skills you need to learn now to be useful in the future? Because if these things are being done by robotics and AI, then you would need to come in with different skill set. So that is what one would want to think about. UK businesses using AI to monitor staff activity. Monitor what is the staff doing, their eye movement, their all the things, facial recognition and everything, object recognition. You join that and join it with other data points which can be collected when you are at the job. And no one is at the job and working all the time. We all of us do take a little bit break and do other things and stuff like that. But now when we will be taking break or something, the AI is going to know if the company is going to know what we are doing in a specific period of time, and which can increase pressure on workers and cause distress. Yeah, this is very interesting. Just like that example, education example, school example in China, using AI. So it can cause pressure on the child. In this one, it can cause pressure on the worker. But for the company, they don't care about pressure. They want to maximize from the time which they are getting from the worker. So if they find out that the worker's productivity is only 4 hours and not 7 hours, and after 4 hours they start doing other things, if AI is telling that to the business, then the business can say, okay, we are not going to pay you for 7 hours, we are going to just hire you for 4 hours, because that is what we are seeing in the system, that your productivity is now, your focus is kind of down after 4 hours. So or after 3 hours or something like that. So company is saving their money. They are not paying for the full work day. Very interesting. Check out this website, iva.ai, artificial intelligence composing emotional soundtrack music. They have some examples there also. You can listen to those, and they are quite well made pieces by AI in terms of music. So please see if you can go on that website. And of course, there are so many other websites. I like this one because The emotional soundtracks were pretty emotional, pretty nice, and it seemed that some human being made them, but no, they were AI. Lyrebird, we create the most realistic artificial voices in the world, and in the HR clip which I showed you guys before coming to PowerPoint, you can link this one with that. AI technology could turn thoughts into speech. Please take a moment. AI technology could turn thoughts into speech. The machine monitors your brain activity, then takes what you are thinking, and with the help of speech synthesizers and artificial intelligence turns it into clear, understandable dialogue. Yeah, pretty good advancement has already been done in this field. Uh, if you are reading the research work in this field, you will be amazed. So please think about that. You are thinking what you are thinking now. It can I can get that in a written format. So I can essentially read your thoughts. How interesting that could be. Uh, well, interesting also, but then of course the challenges are there. 40% of AI startups in Europe have almost nothing to do with AI. 40%. So I wanted you to uh, beware of that, because as I mentioned in one of the sessions also, that people are using these terminologies AI just to attract funding and stuff like that. They don't necessarily have anything to do with AI and other type of technologies, 5G, Internet of Things, these type of things. They just put it in the name of the company, and just to attract funding. So as you work in the field, you have to be mindful of that. This research clearly indicates 40% of AI startups in Europe have almost nothing to do with AI. Next generation of AI talent to be trained at UK universities. I found it very interesting because of my interest in universities. New postgraduate AI drive to boost productivity and create high-skilled jobs as part of the modern industrial strategy. But when I look in depth of the training and those type of things, I would say that a lot needs it desired to be a lot more needs to be done there. That is why I was saying that degrees, yes, they are important, but acquiring skill set and experience, that might be more important in the coming years. Can you do the job or not? At the end of the day, that is the key. But yes, as friend said, that in some jobs you have to show that you have the diploma, you have the degree. I like this chart very much. On the left side, you are looking at potential value and relevant industry. So which industry you want to go? Let's say you want to go here, oil and gas. So if you are going into oil and gas, what are some of the things you would want to think about? You would want to maybe think about driverless cars and drones, transportation, delivery, quality assurance, security, if you are interested in oil and gas. On the other hand, if you are interested in, let's say, consumer electronics, what are the things you want to look at? Customer service and customer experience, personal productivity, knowledge management, chatbots and intelligent agents. This is a nice chart, and these type of charts are available online if you run for search. So what I'm trying to say, identify the field, whichever field you are interested in, and then look for the relevant things which companies would be looking for in terms of skill set. So for example, this one, machine learning algorithms, you would need them for forecasting, utilization, knowledge management, predictive analysis, price, purchase prediction, software development, and so on. Where would you need it? You might need it in city planning. If you are planning city, you need to look at these type of things. And I think Ronnie works in that area, smart city or something. He has some experience on that. So This is these type of things you would want to think about. When we were looking at AI in Europe, in that link, on that link, there are quite a few papers. So you should read those papers. These couple of next slides are from there. For example, in Sweden, AI improves the life of people in need of care. They have bracelets. You can wear those bracelets, and older people, if they fall down or something like that, they are on the ground, so the bracelet is going to give the alert, and people, the related people, the relatives, the people who are giving care, they can quickly come and so on. So AI empowered bracelets. Uh, you can this is a company, for example, Aflow Smart Band, a self-taught e-health system for home care. But all of these slides where I have written words, they are from the postings in AI and Europe. So if you are interested in any one of these things, you should read those papers. For example, read about this wireless and remote operation of mobile machines, what they can do. Machine learning example. This University of Technology coordinates the project with the participants of, among other, Volvo, ABB, Rise, all of these companies. So exciting things are happening in Sweden. Deep learning projects. But read the, I am highlighting these here just, but you need to read them in those papers. 1,500 women die annually in Sweden of breast cancer. 1,500. So how AI is being used to minimize that number? AI for breast cancer screening project. Yeah, Karolinska University Hospital. You should look into these things if you are interested. I really like this one. This report is posted again in AI and Europe. You can read the details. But Switzerland, for example, is known that they are very advanced and developed country and so on. But still, look at this 2019 report by PwC. Artificial intelligence, Switzerland lags behind global competitors. Yeah, that is very interesting. So what I'm trying to say, that even the developed countries as we know them, when we start looking at how they are doing in AI, we might be surprised that they are kind of lagging. Poland, for example, AI is clearly the domain of large metropolitan areas in Poland. 85% of AI companies which participated in the survey are located in 6 major urban areas. Warsaw accounts for 43% of account companies. So if you are interested in AI, maybe Warsaw is a place where you would want to go if you are interested in going to Poland or stuff like that. 73, based on the survey they conducted, 73% of companies receive at least some of their revenue from clients abroad. 33 receive most of their revenues from foreign clients. All of these things are important to get some understanding. There is a need to much more educate CEOs and managers about AI. This I will reflect a little bit later on also. There is, please read this again, the last line, there is a need to much more educate CEOs and managers about AI. So don't think that these advanced countries, more developed countries, people know about AI and stuff like that. No, they don't, and they don't know not because they are not smart. They don't know because they don't have time to run these searches, and they are doing things. They are already busy with the things they have to do in the daily routine. So if you can run those searches and enlighten the related people and guide them what are the things they can do with AI, you might become their artificial intelligence project manager. Who knows? But you have to try. Analytics, big data, business intelligence, and together with sales and marketing, advertisements. So lot of exciting things happening there. Human resource, we spoke about that. Only 15% of companies have a sizable team of over 20 specialists working with AI. Only 15%. Yeah, as we are looking at the subset in the Poland. Yeah, and it's not just about Poland. Majority of the countries in Europe, this is the case. So what we are essentially trying to say is a lot of room is there. Europe is one of the publisher in AI papers. I'm not sure if this is still relevant. Please run the search for now, as we are in 2020 now, and this one is a little bit old of a slide, but this is how it is generally speaking. This is how it has been. China is here, red line in terms of what is happening. Blue is US, and yellow is Europe. Yes, I don't think Europe is leading now, but we will have to look at the statistics. What is happening in terms of number of papers, in terms of publications. But this is more or less, this is how it is. And rest of the world, look at that. Where is rest of the world? Yeah. Europe is home to 1,600 early stage AI software companies. AI entrepreneurship is becoming mainstream. In 2013, 1 in 50 new startups embraced AI. Today, 1 in 12 put AI at the heart of their value proposition. So these are very interesting numbers to reflect on. I like this one in terms of AI entrepreneurship. 479 UK, Spain, France 207, and this is what it is. With twice as many AI startup as any other country, the UK is the powerhouse of European AI entrepreneurship. This is giving you AI entrepreneurship numbers. Netherlands 103, Germany 196, Finland 49. So a lot of improvement. Italy 66. AI entrepreneurship. Yeah. So that can be very interesting field if you can run some entrepreneurial related stuff, giving services to other companies. There is a lot of room in that. Deloitte CFO survey 2019 of Central Europe. Yeah, I think I showed you this one yesterday or something like that. But even if I did not, you can look at it now. 32% of CFOs believe that technology will displace people working in the finance function in 10 years. That is what is happening. 32% of CFOs believe that technology will displace people working in finance function in 10 years. And there are other statistics also. And what was the total number of CFO? They surveyed 674 CFOs in Central European countries: Albania, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Croatia, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Poland, Romania, Serbia, and so on. 17 Central European countries. And from that, 32% of CFOs believe that technology will displace people working in the finance function in 10 years. So the question is that if you want to work in finance sector, what are the skills you need to learn so you are not displaced in 10 years. So what I'm trying to say, these type of reports you need to read by different companies. Deloitte is just one of them. The last one was, I think, PwC, where I was talking about Switzerland. Yeah. A 12-hour work week. Jack Ma thinks AI could make it the norm. Jack Ma thinks that. This is the same conference. I have posted this in one of the supplementaries of the basics on the website. It is in the supplementaries, so you can listen to whole of the conversation between Honorable Jack Ma and Elon Musk. Yeah, 12-hour work week, because many of the things are done by AI and other technologies. But again, this is not going to happen right now. I think it will take some time. But interesting things to reflect on. And when people like Jack Ma are saying something, we cannot take those things lightly. They have a lot of information. These people, they have They have a lot of data. So when they are saying something, they are talking from some knowledge, some knowledge of data which we don't have. So that is why it's good to listen to them. But then at the end of the day, we need to make our own conclusions from that. Chinese subways are using AI facial recognition scanners to help detect whether people have COVID-19 or not. Yeah, so good application of facial recognition, object recognition. China is also involved in that. So very interesting. Automated system can rewrite outdated sentences in Wikipedia article. Can you imagine that? So we are not talking about writing. We are talking about rewriting outdated sentences. So you have written a document and now you have to update it. So AI is going to do that for you. Just like this slide, this slide. Here is a slide. This is a slide, and I got it some time ago, and I have not replaced it yet. So AI could help me with this because it knows that I want to include this information. It will find the latest information on this and just replace the slide. AI can do that. Yeah. So very interesting. Automated systems can rewrite outdated sentences in Wikipedia. Text generating tool pinpoints and replaces specific information in sentences while retaining human-like grammar and style. Yeah, that's very interesting. Please think about that. NBA using AI to create highlights, yeah, of the match, of the game. So this type of reporting, AI is already doing these type of basic things, and then of course it makes mistake, and then the people are informed about this, that this is the mistake it is making, and then they improve it, and then it makes mistake, and then they improve it, and over a period of time it just gets improved. From deep fake to facial capture, how AI is already changing Hollywood. Decades from now, an AI algorithm will make your movie from the text of the script. So you will have a script and AI is going to generate the movie for you. That is what people are working on. Yeah. Amazing stuff. And if you want to talk about current times, you see the movies, you see how they create different scenarios in that. All of those are not real. The technologies are really advanced, like movies like Avatar and stuff like that. How they created those things, it is quite amazing. You can go in that field, and there is a lot of work which need. These are some type of works you can start anything and you will be busy 24/7 if you want to be. The work will never be will never end. That type of fields these are. Scientists develop AI that can turn brain activity into text. Yeah. Some groundbreaking achievements have already been done. So I encourage you, if you think that no, AI cannot read the mind, before you say that to other people, please run some research, read the research papers, follow the top scientists, go in their labs and look at their videos, and then you will not say that AI will not read mind. As a matter of fact, you will start saying that AI is going to read all the thoughts in a human being, and and people will think that you are getting crazy because they have not read, because they have not invested time in reading about these things. That is why maybe they are saying it. And it is good also. Not everyone needs to know what AI can do even right now. Not everyone. And people are not ready also for all this. We are not ready, to be honest. Artificial intelligence systems spot lung cancer before radiologist. I think we have established that definitely there are some things, especially in healthcare, because health is something where you can save people's life. So definitely the usage of AI and similar type of technologies. Uh, Yesterday, one friend spoke about nanotechnology. We have not even touched that. Uh, there is a lot of work in nanotechnology and artificial intelligence in different fields. Mining, for example, mining going into deep areas they are using. Again, it is linked with robotics, but to understand, to make sense of which metal is worth it and which metal is not worth it when human being is not there. Uh, Artificial intelligence is the thing which is doing it. US Patent Office rules, so this is now regulation law. US Patent Office rules that AI cannot be a legal inventor. Look at the date, 29 April 2020. Yeah, so yeah, someone has observed that the tabs. Yes, that you have to read a lot and then select what you want to talk about and which news is correct and which news is not correct. So those are the tabs which you guys can you guys can see there. I mean, I'm happy that you guys are you are paying attention to what is happening. Otherwise, I was thinking that I'm speaking and you guys have gone to sleep. So think about this. AI is creating, commercials, AI writing, all of those things. But who is the inventor? Who is the real owner? That is a ethical question also, and it has legal implications also. But US has decided that AI cannot be a legal inventor. They draw, they paint, they write music, all those things which we have been talking about, and there are so many other things, but they cannot be a legal inventor. And that we see this in the movies also. The artificial intelligence, you fall in love and everything, and artificial intelligence says that I also have emotions and all that, but they say that no. Yes, Ronnie, that is beautiful. So 20 years, 30 years, 10 years from now, that is going to be maybe the new racism. So very interesting. Google CEO, we cannot ignore him. Top guy in the field, highly paid, highly talented. It is not easy to land that type of job. It is extremely competitive. And he's saying that AI needs to be regulated. Yeah, AI needs to be regulated. So what Europe is doing is not wrong. They are focusing on ethics and those things. Nothing is wrong in that because it is important. But who will be the who if we need to bet who will be the next AI leader in the world? Maybe it will be China or maybe US will do something about it, and yeah. So this is a big challenge, big challenge. What big challenge? Yeah, well, yes, sure. Finland, big up to Finland. Yes, after you guys graduate, maybe you guys are going to. Microsoft invest 1 billion in AI project co-funded by Elon Musk. So if you want your country to be the leader in AI, these type of investments you would want because it's a lot of investment. You need a lot of partnerships. Microsoft and OpenAI. Please run a Google search on this. OpenAI is a very nice project. We did not get a chance to speak about it, but the details are on their website. Educate yourself. What are the things they are doing? Announced a new partnership to build a artificial general intelligence. This is coming from our first session. First intro. basics AI. You can go back to basics, and in the module 1 I have some postings for you to look for into AGI, artificial general intelligence, $1 billion. Yeah. Look at the last line on the slide. Multidisciplinary problems. I think that is what you need to prepare for. All of us, not you, me, you, everyone, all of us. Multidiscipline approach, not just one lens, coming from different knowledge, different lenses. That is what we really need. Warship, we have been speaking about that. Lot of funding. You can look into this project, Defense and Security Accelerator. I think when I was speaking, I was referring to USA in one of the sessions. This one is UK, and if you can see, it is the official website, gov.uk. 4 million funding, so pounds. Yeah, very interesting. Artificial intelligence to become a disruptive force in UK financial sector. Yeah, look at this one. Considerable. This is more an overwhelming majority. 94% of UK-based financial service industry decision maker believe that AI has the most potential to revolutionize the sector over the next 5 years. 94% thinks that. And if you compare it with blockchain, 53% think that, and Internet of Things, IoT, 24%. So there is a consensus, 94% do think that in financial sector, AI is going to make big changes. And I showed you a report a while ago about Central European countries, CFOs, and the majority of them said that in 10 years, the jobs of the basic financial jobs, they will be disrupted there. AI better than humans at spotting lung cancers, better than, so we have established this thing. AI could yield more accurate breast cancer diagnosis. We have established that. Yeah. FDA authorizes marketing of first, this is very interesting, first cardiac ultrasound software that uses AI to guide users. So this is the first time in US, their Food and Drug Administrators, FDA, authorized marketing of their first cardiac ultrasound software that uses AI to guide users. So users can have that, and it will tell them about their first cardiac, whatever happens there in their heart. Yeah, so that is good technology to have. Now, of course, you will have to go to doctor later on, but it can give you some signals. So FDA USA has approved that the usage of that. This is early this year, around February 2020. Artificial intelligence predicts which planetary systems will survive. So I'm just trying to include examples from areas which we did not really speak about, solar system, galaxies. Even in that field, they are using it. Of all of the possible ways planets could orbit, how many configurations will remain stable over the billions of years of a star's life cycle? Look at that question which they are trying to answer using AI. Please read it one more time, this highlighted section. Of all of the possible ways planets could orbit, there is so many ways. How many configurations will remain stable over the billions of years of a star's life cycle? Yeah, what can go wrong after years in the system? Again, these are predictions. No one really knows. At the end of the day, there definitely is a higher power. If you believe on that, that depends on what you believe in. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, 100%. So the God decide what happened, but we can predict. Prediction is a prediction. It's a forecast. It can be right. It can be wrong. But it is good to human beings like to predict and see, if they can, if their prediction goes right is correct, they like that. Artificial intelligence to monitor behavior of taxi drivers in Dubai. They are already, I think, they did some pilot project. New system designed to detect patterns of drowsiness or distracted driving. Think how useful that can be to save people from accidents and so on. AI estimates people's age. Think about that. New artificial intelligence system can empower medical professionals in diagnosing skin cancer. AI algorithm capable of diagnosing 134 skin disorders. 134. Yeah, that's a lot. AI could help predict future diabetic cases. This is very interesting. I really love this one. Microsoft's new AI can generate smart to-do lists from your email, so you don't need to have a list yourself. Create a list, write a list. AI will go through your emails. Microsoft, which many of the people use, Hotmail and those type of sites, and then create a to-do list. So for example, look at this conversation. Alice is writing to John, and John is replying, I'm fine, I was traveling, sure, I will send it to you. So John is saying, I will send it to you. What is it? So to do item, send the sales report to Alice. So John did not say that I will send the sales report, but the AI is reading it, and from the message sent, AI is finding out that Alice said, could you send me the sales report? Could you send me the sales report? And John is saying, I will send it to you. And a to-do item is generated using AI automatically. Send the sales report to Alice. That's very interesting. This they have already made this. They are just in the process of making it public. Microsoft. Again, many examples like that one. Yeah. So think about this. Very interesting. Yes, amazing stuff. Towards artificial intelligence that learns to write code. MIT. One is the scientist and one is his student. Researchers have developed a flexible way of combining deep learning and symbolic reasoning to teach computers to write short computer programs. AI that learns to write code. Very interesting. And decent progress has already been made to write basic coding, but more can be done, definitely. Many companies are, preparing their people, reskilling them and stuff like that. Royal Dutch Shell is one of them, reskilling workers in AI as part of huge energy transition. They are collaborating with Udacity to digitally train its worker in artificial intelligence. So there are companies which are, paying attention to this, upgrading the skill set, at least giving them basic information, at least showing them a glimpse of the future. Just like you are maybe seeing in this, you maybe have some appreciation during this week. What are the possibilities? What are the things happening from the things which I have been saying, or the things which our colleagues have been saying? Microsoft is cutting dozens of MSN news production workers and replacing them with AI. Yeah. So as these more or more technologies like these are incorporated in more advanced jobs like production, like writing, the real human beings are going to maybe lose some of their work, and artificial human beings are going to maybe get that work. But please remember that the number of jobs which are going to be redundant is less than the new jobs which are being created. So many times people are not paying attention to that. People are always saying that, oh, a lot of jobs are being displaced. What will happen? It's not that. It is more jobs are coming in. And sometimes, you know, these robots are going to make mistakes. So I wanted to add some mistake also. So Microsoft's robot editor confuses mixed race little mix singers. Uh, so yes, that those things are going to happen, but they can be adjusted over a period of time. These type of mistakes um, will be less and less and less. AI can make personality judgments based on your photograph. So looking at your photograph, it can assess what type of personality you might have. Yeah. Just like you and me look at a photograph and you decide if the person is attractive or not. Yeah. Just like you are looking at me, listening to my voice, and you have your conclusion. Just like Ronnie raised that question, don't we do that all the time? Don't we make judgments and stuff like that? AI is doing the same thing. The technology can be used to find the best matches in customer service, dating, and online lessons. Yeah, just look at the picture, and from the picture, AI is going to tell you this guy is good for you. He will take care of you. He's a good guy. And then you give the picture of your current boyfriend or partner to the AI and say, well, compare both of these. Which one is better? And then, AI might be able to help you there. And this is if you think that this might be is maybe this is not true or something. As I explained you very clearly, all of the things which I showed you, I ran background research on them, and after I was satisfied that this is true, only then I am sharing it with you. So for example, this is the proof of this, that they are doing it. This is a scientific report from Nature Research assessing the big 5 personality traits using real life static facial images. Can you imagine that? Just a picture, and so you go for a visa for some country, you want a visa for some country, and they look at your picture and AI tells, don't give him visa, he's going to make some problem in your country. So regulations, very interesting. So if you are interested, you can read these type of things in detail. Bankers say AI will separate winners and losers. The use of AI technology and banks will be the difference between success and failures for them in the coming years, according to around 3/4 of bankers. AI in healthcare market worth 45 billion by 2026. So we have not looking at a lot of statistics. So I just wanted to include this one, at least one, just to give you some idea that look at that. And please look at this highlighted section. The global AI in healthcare market is expected to grow from 4.9 billion, almost 5 billion in 2020 to 45 billion in 2026. So just in 6 years, an increase of 40 billion US dollars. Why? Because of the incorporation of AI, because of all those diagnoses and all of those things which we have been talking about. Artificial intelligence to detect COVID-19 in less than a second using X-rays. They are working on it. This is work in progress. These are the scientists who are working on it. I ran the search and I confirmed that they are doing it. Yeah. Computer science professor at University of Grenada. Yeah. It will take time. It is work in progress, but eventually they want to do these type of things. Maybe COVID-19 will be gone and this technology is not perfect still, but in the future, we will be able to use this because technologies take time and stuff like that. But think about it. AI that mimics the brain needs sleep just like humans. So we might think that AI will keep on working, and sometimes people say that human beings need rest, and although there are human beings who don't need rest. uh, you have seen in this session we have like 3 hours, 3.5 hour session, and we never had any break, so we can go on and on. We have the capacity to do that. But generally speaking, people need breaks and stuff like that. And some studies also say that break is good. It helps to make connections. But uh, personally speaking, I don't believe in breaks and those type of things. But that is different. Different. That is my point of view. AI that mimics the brain needs sleep just like humans. So even AI, artificial intelligence, would need some type of sleep. And what does that mean? AI became unstable during long periods of unsupervised learning as it attempted to classify objects using their dictionary definitions without having any prior example to compare them to. So then in those circumstances, they have to uh, have some rest and something. So sometimes people say that machines can work on and human beings need need rest. Yes, that is true, but maybe not. They are talking about the chips. Artificial intelligence chips benefit from a good night sleep. I spoke about, I think, in for smell, and we said that in one of the examples uh, I was referring that artificial intelligence can also smell, but at that time I maybe did not give you example or something. So this is there are companies, artificial intelligence perfume companies, which are creating smell in perfume. So you can run some Google search on that. Very interesting. I am a model, and I know that AI will eventually take my job. Yeah, that's very smart model. Yeah. Now think about all the things we have been talking about, robots and the agility in the body of robot. You just need to give it a skin, and it might be doing better modeling than. It depends on your preference. Maybe you like human models, but AI model is not bad. Uh, they are not bad. Tracking COVID-19, AI countries are using that. Elon Musk, please read this carefully. Elon Musk on the right hand side of your screen. If you do not think AI could outsmart you, you are an, what is this word? Yes, this word. You are this. The people I see being the most wrong about AI are the ones who are very smart, because they cannot imagine that a computer could be way smarter than them. That is the flaw in their logic. So if you are smart, then you will think how AI will be smarter than me. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Think about that. EU struggles to go from talk to action on artificial intelligence, and I have been referring to this point multiple times. Amid fears that regulation would kill the sector or arrive too late, too many regulation, they kill the sector. Or even if they don't kill, because you have spent a lot of time in regulating and ethical issues, moral issues, then you will arrive late. But I don't mean to say that they should not do all the paperwork and ethical work. They should, but then China and US, you should develop some strategy how you are going to deal with China and US as Europe looks into ethical regulations. Machine learning reveals recipe for building artificial protein. That is mind-blowing, artificial protein, because it is really going to make some big changes in the fields like agriculture and so on. If you are interested in proteins, if you come from that background, I thought you might be interested. Will coding be useless after AI can write flawless codes? I just showed you a story from MIT, how they are working on AI, which is going to write codes. So yes, no, not at all. Human significance will be there for times to come, but there will be many codes which AI will be writing. So you will be writing different type of codes. What codes would be those? Those codes, maybe they are related with bias, maybe they are related with discrimination, with color, with racism, maybe something like that. Physicians urge hospital to become artificial intelligence ready. So doctors, because they are seeing a lot of things in AI diagnosis and so on, they are urging hospitals, the smart doctors, that we need to incorporate AI. Only then we can we can improve our jobs now. Yeah. So these were some of the slides which I wanted to run quickly for you guys. Now I want to watch a short clip with you, 4-minute clip. Please watch it very carefully and reflect on it. It is amazing, and then we might want to have a little bit of a discussion. Yeah, watch it very carefully.
As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. We are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what I hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
How can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 12 on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard. The amazing thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of conversation. We've been working on this technology for many years. It's called Google Duplex. It brings together all our investments over the years in natural language understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech. By the way, when we are done, the assistant can give you a confirmation notification saying your appointment has been taken care of. Let me give you another example. Let's say you want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book online. The call actually goes a bit differently than expected. So take a listen.
See how may I hear you?
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people when?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually we leave here for like after like 5 people. For 4 people you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
For when tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh no, it's not too busy. You can come for the okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks. Again, that was a real call. We have many of these examples where the calls quite don't go as expected, but the assistant understands the context, the nuance. It knew to ask for wait times in this case and handle the interaction gracefully. Look,
Yes, so very interesting clip, the last one which we watched. Please reflect on that. Artificial intelligence saying, "Mm-hmm." And that's quite clever, and especially the second call that was quite complicated. But AI was able to have a very decent conversation over there. So. Uh, and I hope that as we are trying to conclude our session, you can think back to all the things which we discussed during the week, all the comments made by our friends in the room, all the things which you already knew, your knowledge of IT and computer sciences, and then maybe ask yourself that what do you really want with yourself, with your time, with your energy, where you want to invest it, so you can be a better utility for the mankind going forward. I think that is what you should be thinking about. And let me say here that it is not about artificial intelligence at all. It is not about that at all. Find something which you are passionate about. Find something where your heart is. Whatever you want to do with your life. Uh, if you like to jump around from here to there, just like Didi, we have seen him jumping around from places, from place to another, which is fine. If you like jumping, then you know that in Olympics there is a long jump. So prepare for that long jump, and just excel in that. That has nothing to do with AI or technologies. Well, it does. When you are preparing, you can take help of AI and those technologies to help you. But I'm trying to say, find something where your heart is, whatever you are passionate about, and then once you find it, give give all of give all of yourself in that, and excel in that, and become the best in that. And once you become best, then whatever technologies are there in the world, you can use them also, and become even better than wherever you have reached. But what I'm trying to say, uh, don't think about AI. Think about yourself, because we are human beings. Try to know yourself. What do you really like? What do you enjoy? What you are passionate about? Where your heart is, and then pursue that. And in that, if AI falls, very good. If data analytics falls, very good. But if it does not fall, no problem in that. I am almost trying to conclude here. And before I conclude, I want to really thank all of you guys who have been coming in the session. We had 40 plus, but 20 of you have been coming throughout the session, and I'm very happy. It is a privilege to share this space with you guys. I'm thankful to all the people who have been communicating, sharing their thoughts. I learned a lot from all the comments. I hope you guys also learned a thing or two from the commentary, all of this, whatever has been happening. Also, I want to thank the friends who did not say anything at all, because they were also part of us. Here, maybe they were listening, maybe they were reflecting, and that is fine. That is totally fine. At least they are coming in. So there are some friends like for example, Karina Vog. She did not see anything at all. I don't remember, but she has been coming throughout the session, and she has been vocal, giving her reflection and so on. So that is fine. If speaking is for you, that is absolutely fine, and that is what I want to say. What you find, what is for you, and then excel in that. And in that, if AI comes, very good. If AI does not come, that is perfectly fine. So thank you very much, guys, for that. So in conclusion, I was thinking how I should conclude my session as you guys go on your own way and enjoy your weekend, which is very important. I have been overwhelming you with all of the information here, so I think that you deserve a nice weekend. So I would like to conclude with this poem, which is very close to my heart. I hope you like it. The poem is: if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you had liked to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you will lose, you have lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It is all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You have got to think high to rise. You have got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster person, but sooner or later, the person who wins is the one who thinks they can. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy yourself and have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Thank you so much as well for the course.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It was very interesting course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the session.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants, and thank you, sir, for the amazing.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, you are here. You are here. You are here for a long
Sorry,
time.
I've been here since like
You are,
10:45.
guys,
I
wait.
just didn't
Please
want to
don't
bother.
go. Please don't go. Please wait. Please, guys, wait. We have someone I was talking with. Please wait. Don't go. My
Yeah,
God.
I'm so sorry. I
All right.
wanted to jump in, but at the same time, I
No
didn't want
problem.
to
No problem.
interfere with
Please
you.
don't go. This is very important. As a matter of fact, this is the best thing in the course. So you don't want to miss this. We have been trying to arrange this, and please don't go. Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
welcome to the room. This is our friend Elentina Vardanian. She's at University of Cambridge, and she comes with the knowledge of organizational behavior, artificial intelligence, and future of work. So she is very knowledgeable in the field. And as I was referring to her also today, I showed you a couple of the clips which you need to watch in your own time. She's going to give a very balanced, once you watch her clips, she's going to give you a very balanced approach. So the way I tend to hype up the things, when you will watch her, so you will get a balanced approach. That is very, very important. She has that YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that. See what is happening. And she was very busy. She has talks all over the world. She was giving talk in China and somewhere else. So I wrote her an email that we are doing this AI course in Finland, and we asked for her time. So she's very kind enough to come here to give a little talk to us. She's very busy, so she might not be able to spend a lot of time with us anyways, but maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever she can guide us, we are very thankful. So I won't spend too much time in praising her. She's beauty with brains, as you guys can see. So she is smart here, and she has got the looks also. So yes, Dr. Valentina, please welcome to the session, and the session is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry. This week has been crazy because I was teaching Chinese students, and so I was doing night because I'm in LA right now. But thank you for inviting me. It was nice to hear part of your lecture and to watch the video too. So yeah, Tashveen and I had connected through YouTube, and so we decided to maybe that I can talk a little bit about how to prepare for a tech-driven future, especially because a lot of universities are not necessarily providing courses in this manner. So, I mean, the first is just the very basic. It's to familiarize yourself as much as you can with the technicalities of it. Sorry, did I freeze? Oh no. Have I frozen?
No, just the camera
Oh,
doesn't
that's
work, but we
green,
can hear
but
you
we can
just
hear
fine.
you.
Okay, okay. So the first I would say, it's the very
And now
Now the sound
everything
goes.
is
Yeah,
gone.
now it goes again.
No problem, no problem. She's reconnecting, so she will come back. No problem at all. And if you have any questions or something which you would want to ask, I think at the end of our talk, this is a good time for us to ask her, because she's really knowledgeable in the field, especially in terms of organizational behavior and how these things are linked. So at the end of our talk, if you have any short questions or something like that, please go ahead and talk about that. Yes, doctor, please go ahead. Yeah, it sometimes can be a
Okay, I'm
challenging.
back.
Yes, please go
Sorry.
ahead. Yes.
Everything that could possibly go wrong with these virtual meetings could, right?
That's okay.
When
No
you go
problem.
into,
No
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, so just the basics of having an understanding in the field. And of course, there are foundational courses like you can take, like this one, or more tech-driven ones like the ones on Coursera and other online platforms. So just familiarizing yourself with it, if you have some experience in programming, learning Python and TensorFlow, because when you actually do something hands-on, then you understand the details of it, of what the limitations are. And so not only is it important for your own learning, like if you want to actually learn it, but also it helps you understand what's going on in the field. So then when you read the articles, when you see the new technology, then you can separate what's the great stuff and what the not so great ones are, right? And Tashveen also kind of mentioned this, but I would recommend starting small. So choose an industry that you're particularly interested in, and then start researching that industry and think of all the different ways that AI is currently being used in the industry now, and what the potentials of it could be. So what are some potential areas that we haven't tapped into? And I think we can mostly do this in fields where we find interest in and we're passionate about. Because it makes it just more of an enjoyable process for us. And of course, because my background is in psychology and I'm researching more of the behavioral side of AI, my one thing is to really focus on the human side of AI. And I think this is an area that is often overlooked, but it's going to become increasingly more important and needed in all industries. So, whether you're coming from an engineering background or you're coming from a business background, just having this understanding of what the consequences will be for humans will really set you apart as both an engineer and as a manager, because it's not something that most people are thinking about. And so if you come in with that lens, then you bring in new understandings of it and a new approach to it. And so it's also useful in seeing, what the long-term potential of that technology will be. So the last thing we want to do is create AI systems that are just cool and shiny and new, but that they have a short lifespan. Yeah, so another thing is, I'm looking at my notes here. I would urge you to think deeply about what the unintended consequences are, right? So anytime we create a new technology, we think of what we want it to do, right? So when we think about the internet or when we think about social media, it was created to connect us. But some of the unintended consequences were actually that it created a lot of anxiety in teenagers and a lot of health problems. And so looking at these long-term or these unintended consequences can make us create products that are actually better from the get-go. And anytime you have this lens on technology where you're creating it for the better good of society, you're also likely to experience this psychological state of meaningfulness. So I'm drawing this from research. There's this whole literature called job design and work design. And so there are core dimensions of a job. And one of the core dimensions is this thing called task significance. So anytime that task significance is basically saying that what you're doing, all the tasks that you're doing have an effect on the lives and work of other people. And so if you go into it with that mindset, not only are you doing it something good for other people, but you're actually experiencing higher levels of meaningfulness in your work, which means you're actually producing better things and you're, you have a higher job satisfaction and you have better performance at work. So then it's this cycle where, you create something good, it helps others, but that in turn also makes your job a lot better. And another thing to kind of end this on is this need for a shift from AI taking over our jobs to a shift of looking at how AI can actually help augment the things that we're doing. And the reason I say this is that in the beginning, especially with automation, a lot of times why we create these technologies is to, for the machine, for the robot to do the heavy lifting for us. So whether that's physically heavy lifting or that's to take away the mundane things away from us. But now because of deep learning and all of these new these new techniques that we're seeing, it's not just about mundane tasks, it's about knowledge work. So we're seeing it in the work of doctors, we're seeing it in the work of lawyers and accountants in financial predictions, as Tasveen had just recently mentioned. And so when we think about knowledge work and tasks that require like cognitive skills, then it won't be about the AI taking over our jobs. It's more about augmenting. So how do we create systems that actually help us become better in our jobs? And so this is good for the individual level and the organizational level, because if you can create systems that actually augment people's work, then people are more likely to accept it into the workplace. So sometimes, especially because the conversation is so much about AI taking over our jobs, people are very hesitant and there's a lot of fear associated with that. So if you work with the employees and you say, okay, tell us what parts of your job you like and you don't like, which areas would you want to grow in, and then you can kind of build that together. Of course, I'm saying a very ideal version, but to go in with this mindset helps, because then your employees actually want to use the AI system, and so it helps at the organizational level too, because you're implementing it and it's helping everyone. Yeah, and then I think having this shift will also attract the kind of people that we want to create and work with AI, right? So whether that's engineers or the business side, because even though a lot of times we'll hear that AI is dangerous, I don't think it's AI that's dangerous, it's the people behind AI that are dangerous. And so if we have this very this shift in our thinking in how it can augment and make us better instead of just replacing us, then we'll attract people who are more responsible and more have stronger moral code, and so that creates AI that's good for all of us. So yeah, these are just some things, but I think my main focus is very much to focus on the human side of it and to make sure that we have more responsible and moral people in AI on either side, engineers or managers. And yeah, so that's just my few points to think about how to prepare for a tech-driven future. And if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to, ask. We have a raised hand.
Yes,
Abu?
please, guys, make most of this opportunity. It is not every day you will find such a talented person in the room. So please ask any short question or something like that. If there is something you would want to really ask, please raise hands and participate. Thank you.
Yeah, what do I think about the gender gap in the AI field? Well, I think because AI roots from engineering and it roots from computer science, it's not just an AI problem. It's something that's like been, it's kind of ingrained in how it's been done. But I think in many ways we are seeing so many more women entering not just STEM but also AI. And we see the CEOs at some of these main companies also being women. So I do have a lot of hope. I think there are women doing great jobs. And let's not forget that Ada Lovelace, the first programmer, was also a woman. So yeah, I think there's potential for it. And I think I personally, I mean, the women that I've interacted with, there are a lot of women in AI. And so, yeah, there's promise in that.
Yes, Abu, please go ahead.
I have one question, like as you are like professional or you have been in this field, so you know about lots of about it. So my question is like some countries is jumping AI like AI platform quickly, or some countries are taking time. For us, like European, are taking some time to jump there, or they are a little bit thinking about ethics and this other stuff. So what is your opinion? Should we jump as soon as possible and develop AI for everything, or we have to wait and think and a little bit slow about it?
Well, if you ask me, I would say definitely don't jump in, because see, when you look at startups too, so many people jump to make a startup, and then these startups kind of just, so many of them fail because they didn't have the right plan to begin with. And it's the same with AI, just creating something really quickly because you want to be ahead of the game doesn't really serve anyone. If you want to jump in just to get the experience and understand the workings, of course, the more projects you build, the better you get at it. But if something isn't working and it's harmful for society, then people aren't going to accept it. And so it won't be successful in that sense.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Yes, Barnes, please go ahead.
I would like to ask, I don't know if you had opportunity to read Homo Deus book by Noah Harari. He was at some point pointing that in 2030, maybe 40, the list of the jobs that will not be anymore around was quite long, and he had pretty good reasoning behind every single one. And one of them was, for example, doctors who would perform even the most difficult surgeries, or give us estimate about the health of the patient. Do you think it's a realistic time, this 10 years from now, or not?
I don't know if I'm somebody to ask about predictions of timelines, but I can say that, okay, so when we talk about doctors, right, there's this one, it's an academic paper if you're interested. It's by Matthew Bean. So he did his PhD at MIT. And so he spent quite a lot of time in US hospitals looking at how doctors are learning. So he focused on the junior doctors. So in America, when you finish medical school, you do a couple of years of residency before you become a doctor. And so he was looking at these junior doctors to understand how they're learning surgery with the Da Vinci robotic surgical arms. And so what he found is that after spending time with them, they were just watching the robot perform the surgery. So all the nuanced details that go into learning a job, they didn't learn that, because so much of it is hands-on, right? So it's like you have to go in there, do it yourself to understand how surgery is done, as opposed to just watching it on the screen. And so this brings up some philosophical questions, because it's like, okay, we can get robots to perform perfect surgery, right? But then what does that mean for the future profession? Do we want to have an entire a future of doctors who don't even really understand the nuances of their job? They don't understand the intricate details of it all, right? So they just know how to use machines or automate things. So I think, of course, we can get robots to do it better, but I think when it comes to health, it's so much more than just performing surgery. I did a video, one of my first videos was on this, and it's like, when we're sick and we go to see a doctor, we want a caring person to be there. We want somebody to listen to what we're going through, whether that's, psychologically or physically. So I think it would be, if this does become true, I think it would be a very sad society to live in, where that human touch is taken out of it and you're just interacting with, a chatbot in a sense, or a robot. So will it be? There is a lot of potential for it, but I don't think that as a society we would want that type of future. But that's just my personal take.
I would thank you for that. I would like to just comment on that, because I've been working for last 5 years in healthcare industry from the IT side, and the development of software is very slow, because it's very restricted area, and if we develop something, it goes through a really big bureaucracy path, and what we are developing are monitors, which are used in hospitals, and by monitor I mean the whole complex device which shows the which state the patient is, and there are many false alarms. The one of the biggest problem is that monitor, when it goes to production and to hospital, what the nurses and doctors do, they actually mute the alarms. So that's also an interesting part, because it will, I don't know how powerful this AI can be, very powerful, because now what we are talking about now might not be any more valid in 3 years. The problems that we now think are extremely big, in 3-5 years, they might be solved quickly. So for example, these false alarms can be handled very well by AI. And I think it's like exponential growth, and it might sound now not, but it will grow very quickly. Yeah. It's like you said, it's really hard to predict. But I was curious about your point of view on that.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, and that then makes us think, okay, if we will get false alarms and the system breaks down, if our doctors don't know the details of it, how can we then, continue? And another thing is, the AI can only get stronger if the doctors are strong too. So if we turn doctors into assistants, into, like, let's say, just tech assistants, and if the doctors don't know what the next step is needed, they can't tell the system what the next step is needed, right? So a lot of it is hand in hand. I don't think it will ever just be AI systems, because at the end of the day, we're the ones building the AI systems, and it's only powerful based on the data that it gets from our life, and the data is everything that we've done. So it's a very combinational coming together. So. Thanks.
Yes, Ronnie, please go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on Barna's. The fact that everything comes so slowly means there is like huge queue of new healthcare systems waiting for approval in like the Finnish system right now. So they are coming, but the approval process takes so long that they come one by one, and then it takes years for the next system to come in. But there is like a lot of new systems under production coming, but because the ethics system is so strong, or the approval process takes so long that it takes such a long time for new system to get approved and implemented, and then there is already the next system and the next and the next in the queue waiting for approval, and then it takes time to implement and stuff like that. That really slows the process, but you do what you have to do. But I also had a question for Valentina. Like you said something about the technologies that it's harmful if people don't accept it and will never accept it. But you also said it's a good idea to develop technologies regarding AI if you can. I was just thinking, like, if you develop those technologies, stash them away, and try to find more ethical implementations for those technologies. Like in the meantime, you know, people are not gonna accept them right away. Like, because like the common opinion, I mean public opinion regarding those things can be one thing right now, but like from 5 years from now, it could be completely different. You stash away what you have invented, and then 5 years from now, you take it to the public. Like I know this is what many companies are doing right now. Do you think it's a bad idea, or what's your opinion on that, like in general?
Okay, so to clarify, when I said to stash it away, I meant not that you just stash it away and come back to it years later, but that you don't stop your own progress because you learn through the experience, right? So you may create things just out of curiosity and then realize this actually isn't good for people, so we let's do away with that one or create it in a different way. So I think in many ways, if we create things that are useful for people and it helps augment our work and it makes us stronger, then people will be happy to accept it, Of course, there will always be, like, say, for example, in your work, I'm sure there are certain things that you absolutely despise doing. And if you know an AI system could do that, then you'll happily accept that. Whereas there are other things that it's, invading your privacy, or it's actually going to have long-term problems, then you don't want to do that. Like, for example, for me personally, the whole concept of virtual beings is worrisome. And if you guys want to look more into this, there's one called Replica, and people are using it as a psychologist. And in some ways, this can be useful for people who are experiencing some sort of like problems in the beginning, just as a temporary thing. That's okay. But if you put too much reliance on something like that long term, then that's very problematic. Like, the psychological risks of that are worrisome. So that's what I mean, that it could be harmful, but if it's created really to help us, then we will accept it. We will want it. I mean, look at how much things change for us even since this pandemic. It's like everybody's doing everything online. We're used to adapting as long as we can see ways that it's helping us. So that's what I hope that makes it more clear. If not, feel free to continue.
I mean, it does, but like what I mean is the opinion can change as well. Even if something is created to help us, if it's, for example, invading our privacy in some way, people won't accept it right away. But things can change in 5 years or less, even when people's opinion might be like, maybe it's not that bad. Like, things change. Like, of course, it needs to be something that people actually want, because there needs to be benefit for there to be advancement. So
definitely,
still,
over time,
people won't accept things that they don't want immediately, but it can change.
That's very true. Sometimes it takes us a while to adapt to it. So, for example, even with data, people were hesitant, and then by people speaking out against it, we hold the companies accountable. And so then we had the data privacy both in America and Europe. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like this combination of working together. Of course, in the beginning, there are things that we won't accept because it's way too new for us. So just building that relationship and holding each other accountable is what will get us to the next step.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
That's very enlightening.
Should we give AI free will? That's a bit too dystopian, I think. How do we give AI free will? Because that becomes a philosophical debate of what it means to give AI free will. You know,
Please go ahead.
Valentina, I would like to ask you from the perspective of game industry and behavioral aspects of human. For example, if do you have knowledge or information related to projects that are held to develop a game which at the same time is helping people to solve some issues related to personal, like for example, autism. Is there a project like that which is using AI? Do you know something about it?
no, I'm not familiar, but that is interesting. So I would look into that too. I'm gonna make it.
Actually, Barnes is interested in gamification and those type of things. So maybe, but what we can do is thank you very much for all for coming here and answering all the questions. We learned a lot from your contribution. And guys, I'm posting because there might be a lot of things you might want to ask her. So I'm posting the link for her for our guest YouTube channel. So you can click on that and watch the clips. She has already explained a lot of things there. And it is a new channel, so over a period of time, I hope that she will continue with this, although it can be very time consuming to make the videos and everything, but it is very interesting. It is small channel because she just started not even a month ago, and definitely it is going to grow. And her email address is also there, so it would be good to reach out to her if you have any other questions in the forward. Maybe she won't be able to apply right away, but she will ensure that over a period of days or weeks, depending on her availability, she can look into your request and anything on that. Because think about it, she's coming from organizational behavior psychology side, and you guys are coming from programming side and coding side. So that type of information which you can gain from people like our guests, that can be phenomenal for us. I just asked her for 15 minutes, but she is very kind for giving us more than half an hour. So, and voluntarily, she's doing it voluntarily, of course. So we are really thankful, doctor, for this, and we really appreciate that you came. And thank you very much for everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Take care and have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Touch, guys. Take care. Thank you, Mai. Take care. Hope you get well soon. 100%. You'll be fine. Take care, guys. Take care. Bye bye. Bye, Dimitri. Bye, Daniel. Bye, Jonas. Take care. Thank you, Jonas. Take care.